Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another week, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about a couple different topics. We're going to be talking about GameStop bids a final farewell to crypto with the closure of their NFT market. We're going to be talking about Starfield. Leaks suggest that game was once more a complex and hardcore game. And then we're going to talk about Q&A of Suicide Squads. The devs had a Q&A on Friday, I think Friday afternoon, when we were doing the other podcast with Lono, and they answered a bunch of different questions. So I have some info. We have Lejeune made a list of like everything they're going to put in the game. So we're going to bring that list up and we're going to talk to each point, and I'll have some gameplay from Jarv, who's a YouTuber who's got some raw gameplay and whatnot. And then we're going to dive into, he made a video, Jarv made a video of the guns and what the high-end guns are and what your loadouts are going to be like. So we're going to look at that as well. If you like what we do here, please make sure you share, like, subscribe. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. We like to cover game stories and have conversation with chat. What's going on, Dave Rose? What's going on, Dende? Magic Dolphin, good morning. So yeah, let's start off with the smaller story right now, which is a GameStop bids for a final farewell for crypto. This is where we're going to start off to this morning. If you're new to my channel, what we do is we do little breakout videos. So as I talk, it's basically like I'm making a standalone YouTube video. But if you're here live, you get to listen to me do it live, and then we have a conversation about the topics right after, and then we go on to the next one. And if you watch this after the fact, then you'll watch the breakout video, or you don't have to watch the breakout video because you've already watched it live here. Appreciate you. What's going on, Jesse? Why am I all right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30 NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about GameStop bids a final farewell to crypto with the closure of its NFTs and marketplace. So, the pendulum of history is resounding, swung back, and so many assemble, and we're back at railing retailer GameStop's following its experiments with cryptocurrency and a brief moment of the sun as some of the kind of Reddit meme thing. As a reporter, Decrypt, the company has announced that the NFT market will shutter on February 2nd. Now, the marketplace has been updated with the notice of the effect, citing continuing regulatory uncertainty of the crypto space, and the exact same wording GameStop gave when it announced its end of its crypto wallet. While users will no longer be able to buy, sell, or create on the platform, any asset that they own will remain accessible on the blockchain via other platforms. Now, like many retailers, GameStop has struggled with the face of e-commerce and digital distribution, though it still retains a strong nostalgic appeal to many gamers of 2021. We saw the strange saga of its stock price getting driven into the stratosphere by small trades organization through Reddit, and though the story has also been made into a movie with a baffling, excellent cast, the good times didn't last for GameStop or many of those hobbyist traders. Now, GameStop joined the wave of companies, individual celebrities, and tried to cash in on the high of 2021 and 2022 NFT craze, which now feels like it happened in a different century. The company continued to lose revenue, however, and in June of last year, the CEO, Matthew Furlong, was terminated. While GameStop was also cited regulatory uncertainty, it's also pulling out the spaces. It's not even clear anymore if they even care enough to regulate crypto anymore. Now, the failure of Norma's so-called stablecoin, or the bankruptcy of FTX, also highly publicized, prosecuted for founder Sam Bankman-Fried, also well known as general crash in the value of cryptocurrencies and the NFTs, have led to potential irreversible reputational damage for the technology. Now, besides their betting on the future of the entire economy of the AI is now grandpa. So, GameStop, now, who saw this coming? I think anyone could have done one of these that we do in the prediction. I said that this was going to die, and GameStop is making a bad choice here. And we talked about this on Generation X Gaming well back in 2021. So this is not a surprise. Look, I like GameStop. I like going to GameStop we all have memories of GameStop, right? We all have memories of GameStop where you had a midnight release, so you ordered a pre-order, you showed up to your GameStop, you talked to other gamers, basically what YouTube is now or what Twitch is, right? You go in a chat room, okay, you watch a game and you talk to other people about that game. Well, it's kind of changed. It's not that anymore, right? But we all have memories of going to GameStop and getting our Grand Theft Auto or Zelda or Nintendo, whatever it was. It was a good time. That's not what GameStop is anymore, right? Somebody cashed in and tried to make a big bucks off of it, and the industry said, we don't like GameStop. They wanted to stop the third-party sales. They wanted to stop the sales of people that sell their games back, and then someone else buys it, and this is where digital came in strong. Digital wiped them out almost completely. They're still here. GameStop is still here. But when you go in there, okay, when you go into GameStop, there's not many people, okay? And there's not many games. People are like, oh, if we don't have it, well, we can order it for you. Why would I need you to order it for me if I get it digitally, right? Or I can get it from Amazon. They're almost obsolete, but yet they've hung on and just kept holding on to that rope because GameStop refused to die. Because me and Sarge have said, God, it's about 5 years now. We said before 2020, I said that GameStop was going to go bankrupt and be gone. And I said within 3 to 5 years, and that's come and gone now. Okay, so GameStop's still holding on, but now they tried with the Funko Pops, and they tried to change their stores into like gaming, like cafes. They've tried to make a what's it called? Now with the cryptocurrency, they've tried every which way possible. They've brought in so many different people from different companies and different avenues of the business, and yet GameStop just can't do it. The best thing that happened to GameStop was a meme. Was what happened in the stock market for the traders, and now the movie about GameStop is making more money than actual GameStop. So what's going to happen to GameStop? Well, I would say it's going to go belly up and be gone, but I would be wrong probably again because it's going to just hang on for the grasps and doesn't want to let go. It'll probably evolve into something else as it tries to go into its 16th stage of GameStop. GameStop's problem is GameStop doesn't know what it is. They should actually call it Stop Gaming, because they are no longer really a gaming platform. They sell T-shirts and toys and all this other stuff, and they're just trying to hold on for one last hurrah. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think happens to GameStop? Are you okay with these NFTs and stuff being gone? I am. They were gone 3 years ago when they first brought them because I never dove into that. But where do you think GameStop's going? Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you still stop at GameStop? Again, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in live chat right now. If you like what we do here, please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And if you like what we do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, chat. What do you think about GameStop? GameStop bids a final farewell to the crypto and the closure of its NFT market. Here's a red flag that a lot of people don't pay attention to, right? It's worse than the digital thing of a game closing down. Like, people bought physical digital items that they own, and they're just like, yeah, we're closing down, but you can still access them on the blockchain. But where am I doing with that? If I bought something, what am I doing with that? The only thing you can do with that now is literally try to sell it to somebody else that's more moronic than you for purchasing it in the first place. Trying to sell it to somebody else that's like, oh yeah, that sounds like a business model, and I'm gonna invest in that. Like, it makes absolutely no sense to get involved in that market, especially after you know it doesn't exist anymore. It's like, yeah, hey, why are you offloading this NFT? Well, I hate to part with it, but me and GameStop, we just kind of outgrew each other. Like, no, they got rid of their stuff, and the only way you can access it is on the regular blockchain. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. All right. See what you guys are saying. Travis, good morning. Says, I figured it out. People complaining about stupid things like the Flash is too fast, but you're also killing the Justice League. We changed their jobs from reviewer to country music. Cubby says, thanks, Reddit. I don't even order GameStop anymore. I use buying PSN cards at Best Buy. That's what I'm saying. What's going on, Alien? GameStop is the cockroach of the gaming industry. Yeah, it's like what you find underneath. Like, you pick up a rug and you're like, oh my God, there's a GameStop there. Like, the only reason I go to GameStop now, the only reason is like I have an itch, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to GameStop and see if there's an old game that I want to pick up to own on a hard copy. And then I go in there, and they're like, "Well, no, we don't have it, but we can order it for you from the other store." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good," because I want to go in. It's like getting a pair of shoes, right? Go into a shoe store. If they don't have your size, you walk out of the shoe store, right? If I walk into a GameStop and they don't have the game I'm looking for, I walk out. I don't want to go to 15 other locations of GameStop. I walked into your store, you don't have it, I move on. Now, if it's a game I really want, right? You know that we went out and tried to find Transformers War of Cybertron, and we had to go to multiple stores because we found it, and we got it a good price. It was like selling for $200 online, and we got it for $48 in some mom and pop shop. So, which wasn't GameStop, by the way, which wasn't GameStop. Come on, Robert Jones. I said this a week or two ago. Foresee them getting more into game development and or publishing. Oof. I don't know, Krebsy. I remember you saying that, but I don't know if GameStop gets into publishing, man. GameStop getting into publishing kind of reminds me of like what Netflix is doing. Netflix is, even though they're putting $1 billion into the business, they have not swung anything. They only had 1% of their total users even attempt to play games on Netflix. I don't know if GameStop does that. Dave Rose says, I still buy pretty much all my games from GameStop. My local one has a cool manager and the gamers, and I enjoy going there and chatting with them. I totally get that. I used to love where I used to live before I live now. I've lived here almost 8 years in February. But my other place where there was a GameStop at walking distance from our condo that we used to have. And I would go there, and there was a good manager, man. He was there. We were there for 10 years, and he was there before that. And I would go up to him just to bullshit with him, Dave. Just to bullshit with him and just have a conversation. But that's basically what we're doing now, right? We have conversations of different games and whatnot, and you find different chat rooms and different streams, and you try to find people, right? That's big. I don't need GameStop for that. GameStop has to come up with something. They have to have, and I've said this in the past on GXG. I said when they were doing those cafe type stores, I said GameStop should make a deal with Xbox or PlayStation where they get the games a little early and you can play the newest games that are coming out, but at GameStop, right? You come in at GameStop, you try the game out like a demo, but they don't need to do that, okay? Because they can literally just put it in a preview program or give it, the company itself can give you early access to a game now. GameStop is a toy store now. That's what I'm saying. You walk in, you don't know the identity. It's a Funko Pop store. They're selling like computer parts, and they got T-shirts, and you know, it's like a comic. It's like a comic book shop with no comics. Oh, then this is I go to GameStop for the clearance T-shirts. I mean, we lost 3 more locations over here, right? There was like 5 locations within like a 5-mile radius of us. And they closed 3 of those stores down. They need to make something like a thrift books for games. Jesse Max says, I love going to GameStop. What was I a kid now? Ain't no point going to GameStop nowadays. I just think it's funny. Even when I go to like Target and I walk down the game aisle or Best Buy, it's sad. It's sad, man. When we were kids, you would see aisles and aisles of DVDs and video games, and now when you go there, it's just a pamphlet, and it's got the little cards. You want to buy Microsoft points, or you want to buy and it's just like, or you buy the digital game on a card, and I'm just like, and all that is for when little Timmy gets a game, people buy the card, and they're like, well, what do I give him? Well, you can give him this, right? That's basically it. That's all it's for, is so Timmy can have something when he opens up a birthday gift or Christmas gift. Kylo says they only buy physical games on local businesses. Screw corporations. Robert Jones says GameStop is good for buying physical gifts for someone else. Also good for online deals, but they don't need to do a store for that. Right. Travis says cool managers can't make up for the fact that the much higher ups just don't give a shit anymore. That's true. What's going on, Mr. Digit? GameStop will buy your PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Switch OLED for 20 games, and large sum for $10. Yeah, You turn all your stuff. This is why I'm not a person. I've only did this once, and I regret it 100%. 100%. I own every system known to man. But I traded in my PlayStation 3 back in the day because I only had 4 games on it. I had the Uncharted games. I had Little Big Planet. I had MLB The Show, and I can't remember the last game. But I got it back in like 2009, 2010, and I was just done with it. I wasn't playing it, and I traded it in. But it was a really good deal because I traded it in, and I got my Xbox One, right? And I traded it in for the Xbox One. But that was it. And I was kind of pissed about it because I don't have the PlayStation 3 anymore. And I loved collecting. I guess I could go back and try to buy a PlayStation 3. It'd probably be cheaper now. But that's the only system that I used to own and I don't own anymore. I never traded in my games. Never traded in my games. Roger says, my local game craze would let you try games before you buy them. It was amazing. There's a local mom and pop shop that does that here. Like if it's a used game, they're not going to open up a brand new game and like let you try it. But if they have one that was turned in, and you're like, hey, can I try that? They'll pop it out, put it in, and you can play. You can sit there for 3 hours and play the game. You can literally play the Call of Duty campaign if you wanted to while you're waiting to see if you want to buy the game. Low blow. Gotcha. Krabby says they think they need to become a true competitor for limited run games. They use the brand recognition and establish networks with stores to ship games for people. I don't know. Do you know what I think they try next? Are you ready for this? GameStop tries to make a streaming service. They try to make a streaming service. I think that's all that's left for them. Like, you know what? We're gonna go up against Netflix. We're gonna make a streaming service. They're like, oh, please don't. Please don't. Oh, we're gonna make a streaming service. We're gonna get all the game. We'll put it on Stadia. Oh wait, Stadia's gone. Yeah, it was the fat PS3. It was the original PS3 L. Yeah. Just that time of my life, I was working a lot. So strange enough, right? When we got the PlayStation 3, we got married in 2010. Okay, we got married in 2010. And we asked for a Blu-ray player. Okay? Because at that time, 2009, 2010 was a Blu-ray, right? So we wanted a Blu-ray player, and we put a Blu-ray player, just a Blu-ray player on the thing. And nobody bought it. Nobody bought it. No one got it off our registry, right? And I was like, you know what? And those of you that have never been married or are going to get married, just put whatever you want on your registry. Just put whatever you want. You'll be surprised on what you get, okay? So I put a PlayStation 3 up there, and someone bought that instead for $600. Instead of buying a $100 Blu-ray player, they didn't touch that. But they bought a PlayStation 3 because it was a Blu-ray player / gaming system. And during that time frame of my life, I was traveling a lot. I was working, right? So I was never home. And then when I was off from work, okay, I would, I could work like 6 months solid, and then I would be home for like 3 months, right? So I was home, and I started playing it. I started playing Uncharted, and I started playing MLB The Show. But then I never really played it. Okay, then I never really played it. And I was just like, I don't know if I want this. There's no really games out that I really want for it. And then there was a time where, what was it, 2000? It was around Destiny. It was around Destiny because I was playing Destiny on Xbox 360. And then, because that's where my friends were, right? And there was no crossplay or anything like that. So then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna trade in my PlayStation 3 for an Xbox One, and then I started playing Destiny on Xbox One. And then I was a stay-at-home dad at that point, so I sold the PlayStation 3, got an Xbox One because of my friends were on that platform, and I just played. Have my son inside the little, that little pillow that wraps around you, and he would just sit right here, and I would just midnight to like 4 o'clock in the morning. And that's where I got my gaming sessions in. I had the night shift so my wife could sleep. Man, just talking about a PlayStation 3 just brought back a whole bunch of crap, huh? Crazy. What Stadia? It's this box that was super inventive. Travis says 30. Wait, did you just say you didn't play the full thing of Uncharted? No, I played all of the Uncharted. I played all of the Uncharted. Where did you hear that I didn't play it? Alien says, back in 2009, I was looking to buy my first Blu-ray player, and I ended up with the PlayStation 3 because at the time, the console wasn't much more expensive than a standalone Blu-ray player. Right. Right. And that's how I started playing video games. See that? Isn't that nice? Because of Blu-ray. Blu-ray got you in to gaming. Night shift was great with the baby. So many hours of Ark Survival. I feel you. I feel you, Robert. Right? Those are the days I don't miss. Just Destiny, pillow, baby. We're in the middle of a raid. There's a not famous, one of my favorite clips. Right? It was in my opening thing about when we were in the House of Glass. House of Glass? Jesus Christ. Vault of Glass, where I got the Fatebringer. And I screamed so loud, I woke up my son, who was like 10 feet away from me. I was like, I think I woke up my son. I was like, fuck it. Totally worth it. Try water. You think Suicide Squad could become the new Destiny / Borderland type game that we were playing for months on end? I don't want to put my theme for the year, Water. I don't want to put my expectations into Suicide Squads like that. I'm going into Suicide Squads as a single player game, and if I like the game, which it does seem pretty good, okay, I could be playing it for months. I don't know if I'll be playing it for years. But it could be. It could be. Kyle says, yeah, GameStop will just do bundles like they did with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X so they can make as much money as possible. Right. Can we get a Pale World stream? It's on Game Pass, right, El? It's coming to Game Pass? When does it come out? When does it come out? I mean, I'll play it. If I don't have to spend money on it, it's on Game Pass, I'll play it. I'll play it on stream for you guys. We probably won't dive into it deep because the game I'm looking forward to, Suicide Squad, 19th. All right, we could do that. The 19th. That's Friday, so next Monday I can play it, or we can do maybe a Friday night stream, maybe. Jesse Max says, I have doubt in Suicide Squad, in my opinion. What's the doubt? What's the doubt that you have, Jesse? And I'm not here to try to persuade you into getting it, but what's the doubt that you have? Maybe it's something you don't know the answer to, and I can fill in a question or an answer for your question. Yes, Game Pass. Yeah, we'll play it. I'll play We'll either play it Friday night. It all depends on what I do with my family. If I'm not busy, I'll do a late night stream like 10:30, 11 o'clock on Friday. If not, we'll play it Monday evening. Try it out. Kylo says, I'm so uninterested in Suicide Squad. Hope you guys like it, though. I totally get it that people don't like it. And we were having a conversation, I think it was with Travis this weekend. I was like, I don't understand. I'm not saying you, Kylo, in any way, shape, or form. I want to make that clear, right? I don't understand in this day and age, right? Like, there's a difference between me talking about, as a content creator, me talking about, like, Skull and Bones and saying, don't buy Skull and Bones right when it comes out. I'm not saying don't ever get Skull and Bones and put your money into the game. What I'm saying is don't buy it at launch. Wait to see what happens with that game. And I'm not talking shit about that game because I hate it, right? I talk bad about that game because of the industry and what they're trying to do with that game to sell it to you, right? I don't understand people that hate a game so much. They love to hate a game, right? And they talk shit about that game so much more than something that they actually love to play. I don't get it. I don't get it. You guys know, people that talk shit about certain games, I play that game and I enjoy that game. Now, you don't have to enjoy that game, right? Because one man's treasure or one man's trash is another man's treasure. And I look at that with video games. Wait, a bad game for somebody is another great game for somebody else. Travis says, Suicide Squad is going to be amazing. No question anyone's hating on it is mad because they can't aim or anything other than the freaking ground. No, I think there's a lot to why they don't like Suicide Squad. I think the reason that they, well, yeah, views, Jones, you're not wrong about that. But I'm talking about in general, because people that talk shit about it, they don't have views. They're just people on the internet talking. They don't have a channel. They just said, this game's shit, whatever. And then when the next post comes out, they're like, yeah, this game's shit. It's like, why do you keep following people or commenting people that the game that you don't like? I just don't get it. Right? A lot of people, though, Travis, hate the game because it's not Batman. They didn't like Gotham because it wasn't Batman. And then when they found something else to not like about the game, which is the 30 frames per second 2 days before the game came out, that's when people didn't like it for 30 frames per second. It's easy to pile hate on something than talk positive about it. Sure. What's funny is they did the same thing for Avengers, but people like us that played Avengers knew it had a great base, but the bugs and the lack of content killed it. Yes, and I kind of want to go into, there's a list of things that they said in the Q&A, and Lejeune posted it on Twitter, and we're going to go over that in just a couple minutes or whatever. And I want to compare what the past games were compared to what this game's doing day one. Kyle says, I'm not a DC fan. It being a live service is icing on the cake for me. Hope it's great, though. I can check it out down the line. Absolutely, Kylo. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, just because you have no interest in it now, it goes on sale, right? Be like, $20? You're like, yeah, maybe I'll pick it up for $20, The Pale World coming to Game Pass because I've had it on my wish list on Steam since last year. Yeah, Pale World is coming. They just said it was on Game Pass. Travis says, I don't need another Batman game. In fact, it was just another Batman game. I'd be bitching. Well, the funny part is, what was the game that recently came out? Someone made... Oh. A lot of people... Starfield, right? Starfield was like... I wish Starfield was more like... Because a lot of people, like myself, say it's like Fallout in space, right? I put in almost 200 hours into the game. I enjoy the game. I really like Starfield. A lot of people hate Starfield because it's not Fallout or it's not Skyrim. And do you see the problem with that? They had their hopes set because they wanted another Skyrim, but it wasn't Skyrim. They wanted another Fallout, but it's not Fallout. And they're mad about it. Right? Gotham Knights was bad because it wasn't Batman Arkham. Crazy to me. And here's the crazy part. I actually read someone said, I hope this game, Suicide Squad, bombs so I can get my Batman Arkham game. The fact that you have a thought process of, I hope this game crashes and burns so this company can understand what I want, and I want another Batman Arkham game, and they're going to make it, and you have to wait another 7 years before, if they choose to make it, which is just insane to me. You think because this game fails, they're going to be like, well, this game failed, I guess we have to go back to Batman Arkham because no one's going to buy stuff from us. You do know that Rocksteady started with a first-person shooter game and not the Batman Arkham series. Could you imagine the thought process of, well, they should have stuck what they knew, but they took a risk and made Batman, and it became a phenomenon and one of the best comic book games ever, and the fighting style was revolutionized what the fighting is for that certain thing. But if they just stayed with what they did, then we wouldn't have Batman, you fucking morons. Grand Theft Auto, Rockstar, okay? If they stuck with what they knew, which was top-down Grand Theft Auto playing, okay, and they didn't decide to make Grand Theft Auto into 3D world, then you wouldn't have Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5 and 6 if they stuck with the same thing that they've done the entire time. If God of War didn't switch from side-scroller to what it is, you wouldn't have the God of War that you have today. Water says 30, I think Rocksteady wants to build super hype, and they should show us some after-campaign content, just a small glimpse. I think they are on the next developer thing. Batman combat isn't even great. Hit parry. Hit that. It's it. Yeah, but it makes you feel like Batman, Travis. It makes it feel cool. When you were Batman and you could take on a group of people, that brings you to the fantasy of being Batman. Eric says, hopefully I enjoy Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League more than Alan Wake 2 Simulator. Or Bloaters of Pandora. What do you... Here's the thing. What do you think... Going into those games, what did you play Alan Wake 1? I never played Alan Wake 1, and I knew I wasn't into Alan Wake 2, right? I looked at Pandora, right? Avatar of Pandora, and I was like, I'm okay. I think I'll wait for it to go on sale or come down the line. What are you looking for? Like, you were looking for something in those games, and obviously it doesn't seem like they landed with you. So what are you looking in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? Can I say that's the worst name, by the way? I do hate the name Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League because it's just... My jaw locks up. It's so long of a title. Okay? But... And if you just say Suicide Squad, like, aliens from YouTube come down and are like, is this guy okay? He's talking about suicide. We're talking Suicide Squad. Squad. Right? Stop flagging. Okay? It's okay. It's a video game. Okay? Like, what didn't you like, or what are you looking for, I should say, inside Suicide Squad? The story is what made Batman good? I beg to differ. I think what made Batman good is the fighting, the story, the graphics, the feel. I think the whole package, Travis, is what made Batman good, not just the story. Kurpapa says, 30. Some people on Twitter would still be defending a side-scroller God of War game because of on PlayStation. Right, right. Yeah, but Travis, you saying that it's not bloated, again, this is his opinions and your opinions, which can be different. And opinions are opinions. They released a game with kill and suicide in the title in the year our Lord 2024. It's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Yeah, it's probably one of the worst titles as a content creator, I have to say. It hits on both of those things. It's like he said suicide and kill in the same sentence. All right, I'm going to talk about Starfield, and then or do you want me to talk about Suicide Squad next? You want me to talk about Suicide Squad next? Or you want me to talk... Suicide Squad's going to take a while. I got lots to say about Suicide Squad. I know we're going to have a conversation back and forth. Do you want me to do this Starfield one next, or do you want me to do the Suicide Squad next? Sarge says, my today's standards of a game should be called Deletion Squad, Delete the Justice League. Oh, by the standards of today? Yeah. I did not get the puzzles in Alan Wake 2, and map in Pandora was confusing. Like, why just make it like Far Cry? To be honest, why not just make it? But there you go, right? There you go. That's a good example of they took a risk, and they made it into Avatar. But you're like, why didn't you just make it like Far Cry? Because they don't want it to make it like Far Cry. Even though people compared it to Far Cry, they didn't want it to make it like Far Cry. Poor cat. Yeah, no snow here in Florida. That's why I live here. It was cold last night. We made a bonfire. We got down to, it was like 48 last night. That's short weather for people in Minnesota and Wisconsin. No, Suicide Squad at the end, it's more content. Starfield's story will be shorter. Wait, no, Suicide Squad at the end, more content. Starfield's story will be shorter? Will be shorter than what? I say get Starfield out of the way so we can talk about a good game. Oh, I gotcha. I think you guys are talking about the actual story of Starfield. You want me to do the story of Starfield? I got you. I'll be honest. Ever since I had COVID, okay, I've always had this, like, my brain for current stuff, it gets, like, foggy for me, right? And I have really good memory where I can remember stuff from decades ago. But, like, the stuff that happened the last 2 years or whatever, it's like a fog for me. You'll see me grasp for words sometimes when I'm doing this live. I'm just like, oh, I just did it earlier with the vaulted glass. I had COVID back in, we had it, I think I had it twice, but the first time I didn't know I had it. We got it in January or February of the year it all happened, but we didn't know what it was. Both me and my wife got, like, super sick. I was in bed for like 6 days, but nothing, but just me. I felt like I got hit by a truck. That was it. Like, literally, just like I fell out of a tree or something. My body was just sore. I couldn't move, and my brain was just like a fog. And then we got it. I got it. I want to say late 20 or late 2021. I think. Can't remember. That's what happened to me the first time, but we didn't know it was COVID. Thought it was the flu. We still don't know if it was COVID. We never tested or anything like that. Yeah, the second time when I actually had COVID, it was like a speed bump. It was like 2 days. And I was good. Well, sense of taste for 3 days and almost cried. My best friend's wife still has no taste. She says it's coming back slightly, but she can't taste certain things, and she had it over 2 years ago. All right, let me go with Starfield here. We'll go with Starfield, and then we'll talk about the Suicide Squad. See right there, me pausing like that. Exactly what just happened. I lose my train of thought. I got a while ago studying on my private plot written test. Literally was like studying for 30 minutes, sleep for 2 hours, study for 30 minutes too. Yeah. They still make Starfield news? They do. Like patch notes. There's a Starfield article every day. Every day, El Dente. I could literally talk about, I could make a separate channel just talking about Starfield, and I would have news stories every single day. All right, here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Starfield leaks suggest that game was once more complex and hardcore. Okay, so a Starfield player discovered evidence that the complex exploration and survival features that were removed during development buried inside the game files. So a recent data mine suggests that Starfield used to be far more complex and hardcore game during development, and that many of the space travel mechanics were prior to launch. If you guys remember me and Stars talking about like the fuel system and stuff like that, and I said, how do you make it complex this way but not make it complex this way? I said it's just a little weird, and this is kind of putting towards it was more hardcore. So while Starfield was undoubtedly been a commercial success for Microsoft, numerous players have expressed disappointment with the latest Bethesda sandbox, especially when compared to the company's previous titles, such as Skyrim and Fallout 4. Starfield's recent ratings in the Steam sits at a comfortable an uncomfortable 28%, and the players count keeps dwindling by the day. Now, though Bethesda should be commended for taking a bold swing for adding procedurally generated Starfield, it's safe to say that public reception of the game's exploration loop has been lukewarm. While many fans have praised the shipbuilder and feature of Starfield, an equal number have critiqued how repetitive it feels and wanted a barren plans to be settled systems and connected by unimmersive loading screens and user interface that leaves a lot to be desired. Now, you guys saw me play it live, okay, when we first started playing the game, and I disagree. A lot of people that are critiquing it, right, they can think that way, but I disagree with them. The load screens, I didn't have that many load screens when I just played the game. If I played the game by walking to my ship, flying, doing the different things, doing the side missions, it was fine. But I do agree with them. If you're doing the main story and you just go from one spot to the next and you constantly fast travel, then you will have a lot of load screens. I had load screens as the same as everybody else, but they were far and few between because I was going a 20-minute mission, then a load screen for 3 seconds, and then I would do another 20-minute mission, and then load screen for 3 seconds. I wasn't just running around going fast travel, load screen, fast travel, load screen, fast travel, load screen, because that's not how you should play the game, but each their own. However, it appeals that Starfield used to have to lean much more in the survival aspect during the development, which Todd Howard confirmed in an earlier interview. Now, see, I think, and I've said this when I played, I go, I wish this is a little bit more survival-esque than what it is, okay? It doesn't know what it is, okay? It feels like there should be a survival there, but it looks like they took it out, and obviously, they took it out, okay? A fan named Red Salty Borger uncovered the remains of Starfield's old star map tucked away in the game's files. And there's also ways to discover the interesting fact that the star system seamlessly had traits and hazards for players to contend with. It suggests that the space travel in Starfield played a bigger role prior to launch, with the data mine map confirming discard mechanics such as fuel consumption and interstellar trade, right? So here's a picture real fast. Let's open this up. Kind of want to show you what this looks like. So in this, you can see, and it's a little blurry probably for you guys, but over here, it has the jump range, 12 to 14, the fuel consumption, solar radiation. It has the different things. Okay, it has that in the game now. Okay, but there's more in, like, you had to go fuel your ship up in between. And obviously, you don't have to do that now. Now, the map shows Leviathan 4 with a brief lore blurb, okay, stating that the mineral-rich system that pirates use for stashing valuables. This feature is also missing in the current user interface in Starfield, and it could also argue that the inclusion would have given plenty of atmosphere to the settled systems and its lore, right? So that little blurb section over here as well goes into more of, hey, there's pirates on this planet. You would land on the planet. You might go find stuff, but they got rid of that stuff, right? So the interface of Starfield also could be argued at the conclusion of it, right? So, moreover, Leviathan 4 also used to have solar radiation and micro teraroids were two hazards that could also have made the space travel difficult, with the former causing minor hull damage, while later having the chance to cause catastrophic stop to the player's ship, right? So if you grav jumped into an area, you could have gotten damage to your ship, and then you would have to fix your ships. You had to find ship parts. So you would either find ship parts by blowing up other ships to get their ships, to trade to get your ship parts, or you would have to land in a different system to get your ship parts. Something just so minor of ship getting damaged, now go fix it, you would have to go do that. But instead now in Starfield is your ship is damaged, go to a spaceport, pay $1,000, and it's good to go. According to Bethesda, it took 7 years of development for Starfield to become fun to play. There is very, very good chance that these mechanics were removed for a good reason. Right. Maybe they didn't work correctly. And yes, we look at this now, and hindsight's 2020 going, well, you should have put this in, it would have been a better game. I enjoyed the game what it is. Now, what the game is, and what the game could be, they could easily put this back in because now it's been more refined, got more polish to it, and they can drop it at a later date. So it could be more a different game mode. Like you start again, and it's a hardcore mode, and then you go into the new game plus 10 times or whatnot. But we'll see what happens. The economy of Starfield is static. Players jump from one planet to the next using fast travel. They don't have to worry about running out of fuel, and there's no hazards in space. While this makes it stable gameplay loop, some players in Reddit threads have argued that the final iteration feels watered down. And I agree with that. I do feel that the game is watered down. Now, I did enjoy it, but people are looking for that little bit more. Even No Man's Sky does this, right? You could take off like 5-6 times, and then you have to refuel your ship. You could do space jumps or grav jumps, but you have to refuel your ship. And I think this is something that Starfield should throw back in the game and give it a little bit more of the hazards and what realistic it would be inside the game. Now, with the big Starfield update slated for release in February 2024, Bethesda's post-launch support, the game was kicked into gear, and though it's mostly deal with bugs fixes, the developers have teased a new way to travel and will add to the first half of 2024. Ultimately, it remains to be seen if these cut features will ever be reprised. And I think, or make a reappearance, I think they do. I think this game evolves over the time. A lot of people that are saying that the sky is falling like Chicken Little, oh my God, I think you're over exaggerating. I think this game is just fine. If you decide to play this game or not, it's not a live service game as we know of right now. It's just a game, and you pay for the DLC, and it's a single player game. And if once you play a single player game, you put that game down. And nowhere in existence has anyone ever said it's a single player game. Well, it's done. It's dead. It's never, like, people bought it. They made money off this. It was very successful, and they'll make more content for this. If you want to consider that a live service game, or if it's a paid DLC service, whatever, I think they will make it into a live service game. I think the initial part of it is put it out there, get the money up front, and then keep it going once the insurgents of a lot of people have the game. Right? But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think? Do you think Starfield would be better if it was more of a survival-based type of game than a watered-down version that they gave us? Let me know in the comments section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And if you like what we do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Ah, he said live service. Burn the witch. Burn it. Let me see what you guys are saying here. I blame the potato? I don't. I said this years ago, Krebsy. I think the system's the system because there's the people that want to play the higher end system, and that's always going to happen, right? And then there's everybody else. And the masses is everybody else. And that S is it, right? What it is. And I've said this before. PlayStation's higher-end console. Then there's the Xbox. And then there's the Switch, right? And there's a price point for everybody in between there. Now, if we want to have a conversation that they lied about it and whatnot, sure. But that's what it is, right? The people that bought an X, I feel burnt. I do feel burnt. That I have an X, and it doesn't do more than what the S does, and I'm hinged to what the S is. So going forward, I probably won't buy the next Xbox that comes out right away, okay? But at the same time, I'm still probably going to buy the next Xbox because sunk cost fallacy and all the games that I have that are backwards compatible that I would lose, right? Am I going to buy all those games again on the PlayStation 6? That'd be ridiculous, right? So at this point, I think I'm pretty much stuck. I would have to get an X and then a PlayStation 6, right? Start the library over there and also make one over here. Everything about the games coming to PlayStation 5 has been confirmed by Xbox. Everything about any game coming to PlayStation 5 has not been confirmed. Right. And look, I don't want this conversation turning into, well, Starfield's coming to PlayStation 5. If I recall, okay, and I can't recall that much because it was only a couple years ago, but I recall saying that it's exclusive until it's not. I do remember saying that. So, come on, Roadkill. Exactly, Rose. It's rumored till it isn't, right? I said it's exclusive until it isn't. And if it does come, I don't care. I don't care. Why would I be mad as an Xbox person that more people get to play games? I don't care. I won't lie and say the game is bad or it's not. It's just not a game I care about between Outer Worlds. I prefer Outer Worlds. But if you prefer Starfield, you know what, Travis? I'll be surprised when Starfield comes to PlayStation and you don't play it. Just saying. Where's Alderaan? Hop into Starfield for like 2-3 hours, and I felt like the aesthetic of the game. Hopped onto Starfield for like 2 or 3 hours, and I liked the feel and the aesthetic. Yeah, I mean, it is a good game, but a lot of people, just like I said earlier with the Batman game, right? People's expectations, like their expectations for the game was this, and it's a completely separate game, and they get upset because it didn't meet their expectations. It's like, well, you didn't make the game. Yes, remember, PlayStation didn't even want to do crossplay. That is the fact. Epic said that they were the reason Fortnite took so long to get crossplay. I just lost. Where the hell was that? Plus. Oh, there it is. It's not bad. It's just painfully average and boring. Painfully average and boring. I mean, boring is subjective for people. Because I can say 100%, Rose, that people that play SnowRunners think that game is absolute boring. And to me, it's an adventure. But that's me. Has content been added to Starfield? Not yet. It's only been 4 months. The DLC comes out sometime this year. And that statement, Jones, the way you said that, like, has content been added to Starfield? I know it's a question, but you got to remember it's a single player game. It's not a live service game. What single player game a couple months after, besides like Borderlands a couple months after put the DLC out. Destiny, but that's a live service game. Borderlands is not. There's very few games that come out with DLC within the first 4 months of a game. And it all depends if it's a first-party title, third-party title, how many people, the saturation point before they release stuff like that, right? I mean, where's Hogwarts DLC? Wait, you won't be mad if others can't play a game that you can enjoy? Yeah, I won't be mad if they can't or can't play it. It doesn't affect me in any way. To me, it's crazy that they have exclusives. Like, do you all not like money? Well, here's the thing. And a lot of people can't get past their own, what their structured is, right? They can't get past their own closed-minded stuff. Back in the day, consoles is what sold. You had to sell the console to sell the software, and that's why there was first-party titles. But then the companies got bigger and bigger, and more people came in as third-party developers and made their game, and they put it on all platforms. And then they're like, well, if that game's on all platforms, then we have to make sure that we get exclusives of that game, something on our platform to make people buy our platform. And now, here we are in 2024, Xbox doesn't care about platforms, right? Sony is still in the very mentality of, we want people to buy our consoles. They have to buy our console. We have to have games for that console. Xbox is on the side of, we don't care if you buy the console. You want to play on the console? Cool. Buy a console. Here's a console that's really cheap. Okay. You can play on your television. You can play on your mobile phone. You can play on the PC. You can play on your whatever, right? That's what they're going for. They don't care about the old school model of, you want to buy this game, you have to buy this console. The saturation point for consoles is so... There's billions of people playing video games, and Nintendo has 133 million of those. There's over billions of people, like 1.4, 2.4 billion people that dabble in the games, whatever the market is. And PlayStation's market cap is like 122 million, right? 150 million, whatever it is. They're nowhere close to 200 million, right? Xbox's is 80 million, 50 million, okay? They're not even touching the other 800 million, okay, people that are playing video games. So they said, well, why don't we stop going for this 200 million that we only have 50 to 80 million people that are playing our games on Xbox. And now let's open it up to the hundreds of millions of people that can potentially play our game. Even if they get 10% of that, 5%, 3%, that's more successful than doing what they're just doing, sticking with the people that buy consoles. And how people don't see that is mind-boggling to me. Those are valid things to say, not far-fetched, to say Starfield would be a better if it didn't need to meet the limits of the Series Potato. I mean, if you... So you're saying that even the PC is being held back because of the Potato? Is that what you're saying, Krebsy? That even the PC version is being held back because of the Xbox Series S? And I don't think they have the parity clause, which what happens on PC has to happen on Xbox and S. I think the parity clause is just for the S and X. Rose says, I don't care in general. Won't be mad either, because PlayStation fans who want to play it can now, and I won't touch it. But as a player, I can also take Gears of War on PlayStation. Right? There'll be something that you like, or whatever it is. More people get to play more games. Here's the thing. 5 million, I think it was like 5.1, 5.2 million. Might be like 5.7 million. Bought, played, and finished Starfield. Now, I don't know if they bought it, because it could be just on Game Pass, right? But 5.7 million people finished Starfield. Now, 5 million people bought, maybe 6 million people bought Spider-Man, but only I think 55% of the people beat it. So the people that finished Starfield is almost as much as the people that bought, or I'm sorry, the people that beat and finished Starfield is almost the same amount as people that bought Spider-Man. I actually applaud Spider-Man 2 for that, because it's the game that went, and you don't need to play it me every second, every day. It's okay to tell a story and then move on to another game. But Starfield did the same thing, Travis. Starfield did the exact same thing. The console war is over, which is why I don't understand Xbox fanboys. Well, the Xbox fanboys are not the problem. It's the PlayStation fanboys, L, that can't let it go that Xbox is no longer... I mean, both fanboys are both the problem, but... It's like literally going outside and playing 5-year-olds in basketball and slamming dunking on them and going, ha ha, in your face, right? Like, it's not even a competition anymore. Except that Spider-Man 2 doesn't need people to stay interested in all the time and drop DLC. People come back. They know that. Everything you just said in that sentence, Travis, except that insert game here, Starfield doesn't need people to stay interested in all the time. It drops the DLC and people come back. They know that. That doesn't make any sense. Starfield, meanwhile, is having a mass exodus. So I hear see, this is so stupid. That's such a stupid statement. I'm not calling you stupid, but that statement is so stupid. They're both single-player games. There's a mass exodus in Spider-Man because people play the game and put the game down. There's a mass exodus in Starfield because people play the game and they put it down. It's so stupid. It's a single-player game. Well, there's a mass exodus for every single-player game once you beat it. So ridiculous. I think you could argue that the Series S is holding back PC, but that isn't news. But is it? It doesn't have the same parity clause. I'll agree with you that it's holding the X back. Right? Is Baldur's Gate being held back on PC because the parity clause on Xbox? No. Baldur's Gate's being held back on Xbox because of the parity thing. I'm saying the game itself being held back. Example, without the Series S, you could have larger planets. With the Series S, they are smaller examples with the S. Could be more colorful without the S, or gray. I guess. I mean, I honestly have no issue when I played Flight Simulator on the S and when I played on the X. The graphics are better on the X than the S, but it still puts everything in the game. It just doesn't look as good. Console games usually hold PC games back, but without console, there'll be also a market for said game. More like the failing console slap fights than a war, really, right? Right? Dude's like, I mean, or Starfield drops its DLC and people don't come back. I don't think it well, why wouldn't they come back? You understand, Travis, that majority of the people that played Starfield bought or upgraded their Game Pass membership to get the 5 days early access to play the game, right? You do understand that, right? Meaning they already bought the DLC, and those people, the fans, the majority of the fans that bought, played, finished, put down the game will come back for the DLC. See, your assumption is that people that buy Starfield, they won't come back for the DLC, but the people that bought the DLC for Spider-Man, right? I'm sure if I just took 2 seconds, which I won't do, and look how many people bought Spider-Man and then how many people bought the Spider-Man DLC, I'm sure you would be shocked. I would not. Now, when you bought the remastered, I believe all of them came with it. Okay. Sarge says, you guys like to use buzzwords all day. You don't know the meaning of the words you say. You mean people stop playing a game when they're done with it? Or they get bored? No shit. Travis says, there's 30. Most people I see bitching about Starfield are people who played the game. People I see bitching about Spider-Man 2 aren't people. That's also really another dumb statement, Travis. You could literally take that same sentence, exactly like you just said, and just insert game here. Most people I see bitching about Redfall are people who played the game, and people I see bitching about Redfall, the people who played it, right? You can insert any game you want there in that statement. The Chronicles of Louis says, Starfield needs a Machinima series. Wait, it has one. Enjoy. There you go. Starfield's only going to get better. It's exactly right, Chronicle. And people are upset about that. They're upset about that. I can't wait for all the people that hated on Starfield, that if it does come to PlayStation, all of a sudden, miraculously, it gets better. Kuda Papa says 2 minutes behind, but Sony won most consoles sold. They lost the war. Microsoft has the future right now because of the products they aim towards a larger audience and not just buy our console. Right. But they're not winning yet, Akuda Papa, according to this battle war that's happening right now, right? But they've positioned themselves in a better position for the future, right? Now, Sony could also position themselves, and which they are. Go on, Mo. It's just ridiculous, right? See, people like to make a game compete against another game, but if it's a single-player game, it's a single-player game. Hi-Fi Rush, mass exodus of people that played the game once they played the game and beat the game. Yeah. Final Fantasy 16, once they played that game and beat the game, there's a mass exodus of people. What are people? Just constantly, every game but Starfield, every single-player game on the planet, everyone's playing the single-player game and they never let go. They're like, I'm going to play this game forever. This game's forever. Starfield? Fuck it. I'm done. Right? What are we talking about? Single player games, you play the game, you put it down. And then when you want to play again, you pick it up, but you already spent the money playing the game. What's happening? Roses, because they have nothing. It turns into that because they have to make a comparison. I like this game, so I don't like this game. So to say this game's better, I have to talk about this game. This single-player game is better than this single-player game. My subjective opinion is better than your subjective opinion. This 5 million sales is different than this 5 million sales. 13 million over here, but how many people played it? This is 5 million people, and this is how many people... Like, okay. Congratulations. As people are, like, whacking one off in the bathroom, like, oh, Spider-Man, 5 million. Oh, finish the game. Oh, platinum. Like, what are we talking about? The community is slowly being manipulated to not care where they play games. Once you're comfortable playing anywhere, you'll no longer care about it. The box, you play it on at that point. Right. That's right. So you're saying, in your opinion, most hate or love comes from people in that community. Most people that are shitting on any game, not Starfield, any game, are people that didn't even play the game because they don't like the game because it's not the game they wanted, or because it's on a system they can't play it on. 100%. Playing a game will be just playing a game. Just be playing for the pleasure of playing. Yeah, it's just a third-party game. Like, what's the difference between what EA does and puts their games all on all systems than what Xbox is doing now? Because Xbox makes a console, everyone's like, they're making it third-party. It's over for them. How? I guess you are right, like. I personally don't like Starfield, but I see its merits as good game. Just not one I enjoy. But that statement, though, Rose, you can say that for anything. Right? Who liked The Last Jedi? Right? Who liked The Last Jedi? I fucking hated it. Okay? Right? The thing is, it doesn't matter if you liked it or didn't like it. because it made $1 billion, okay, which was successful, and they made a sequel. Okay? There's more people that didn't watch it and didn't like it than there are people that liked it. But it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, the company made a crap ton of money. Of course you did, Elle. Of course you did. I'm one of the few that actually like the new movies. I know, Coda. We had these conversations before. It's funny, I don't hear much about Spider-Man 2. You mean you played it, you finished it, no longer care, but for some reason, the game you supposedly hate, Starfield, you love to keep taking or keep talking about. That's right, Sarge, because that's what it is. They can't get out of their heads because they're just like, it's almost like when you ask a girl or a guy out, okay, and they turned you down, and then for the next weeks and months, you're just like, that fucking bitch turned me down. She's a bitch. And she's like, is she though? She just didn't want to go out with you. He's such an asshole. He didn't want to go out with me. Is he though? He just didn't want to go out with you. like, okay. I get there's a lot of people who don't like Starfield, but I'm at the point thinking of some make videos bashing it just for views. Exactly right. Exactly right. I like the new movies. As a space adventure movie, as Star Wars movie, they were trash. You like going in fantasizing that they're not a Star Wars film. I like your style, Clips. Okay, I'm gonna go watch a Star Wars movie. This wasn't Star Wars. You know what I'm gonna do? I think I know what to do. I'm going to take episodes 7, 8, and 9 and pretend Zack Snyder directed them and just call it Rebel Moon. Take Star Wars out. Rebel Moon, The Rise of Skywalker. Rebel Moon, The Last Jedi. Yeah. That series now, in my head, 7, 8, and 9, is now part of Zack Snyder's universe of his Star Wars film. It's because it came around the same time, Rose. That's it. That's it. It's the only reason. Rebel Moon, Rise of the Dark Empire. All right. Let's go over some. Let me bring in. Lejeune had. If I open it. Lejeune did a nice thing and just put all the content all on one tweet. We'll just talk about Rebel Moon was shit. 7, 8, and 9 were all better films, and they were awful. Oh, I know. But I don't like those Star Wars films personally, Rose, so I'm just going to throw them in with that movie. All right. So over on this is not going to be a breakout video. This is just me talking. Over on Friday on Discord, the developers had a Q&A, and obviously you could submit your questions ahead of time and then they would answer them I wish they kind of did, and other content creators said the same thing. I kind of wish they did a video like they used to do with other games. Like even Diablo does it, Marvel did it. Like put the developers in front. They don't have to answer the questions live, but they could have taken the video and just spoken, because I hate when it goes back and forth and you're reading certain things. Certain things they said would have been cool if they told it to us. But I get it. It takes time and people and money and you got to set up cameras and whatnot. But it is what it is. So they said a bunch of different things. So there's a list here, and we're going to go down the list, and we're going to talk, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and I guess speculations a little bit here, right? So these are factual things, okay? This is factual things in the game that are going to be inside of Suicide Squad. Now, a lot of people like to compare Suicide Squad and Marvel's Avengers because not only are they superhero games, but they are live service games, okay? And I've said this, and I'll beat this to a dead horse. The difference already between this game and this game, meaning Suicide Squad, and that game, Marvel's Avengers, is that Marvel's Avengers, which also got delayed. This game got delayed 2 years. That game got delayed 2 years. The difference is that when that game, and when I say that game, it's Marvel's Avengers, it got delayed 2 years, and when it came out, they didn't finish what they had, okay? And then they were chasing the entire time of what the game was, okay? So Marvel's Avengers dropped, and it was broke. It was buggy. It was unfinished. The story was fine. I had a problem with the story of Marvel's Avengers because it actually locked the game up. I couldn't get into the last fight. It took them 14 days to fix the patch. Once the game got fixed, I beat the boss and moved on with the end game content and whatnot, okay? Now, when that happened, they were just constantly fixing bugs the entire time. They didn't put loadouts in the game, and then they finally put loadouts that were blinking in the game for like 2 years, but they never put loadouts in the game. They were constantly trying to get other content in, and they said, all content's free. Well, if you don't make any content, I guess, yeah, sure, the content's free. And then they finally put content in the game, and it was like an afterthought, okay? So far, this game, which is Suicide Squad, was also delayed by 2 years. And it was supposed to come out last May, then they delayed it 10 months, which we're getting January 30th, you pre-ordered. February 2nd, if you didn't, it's just the standard edition, okay? And I said, when it was happening, before it came out, I've always said, before even Suicide Squad, I said, I wish these comic book games would make it like a comic book story, like the DC Universe Online, where you're constantly updating the game and putting more stories out and whatnot. Now, this Suicide Squad, when it got delayed, I said they should, hopefully, work the 10 months and change things up, which they did. They've added a offline mode, which is not going to be at launch, but they are adding an offline mode. They got rid of gear score, which we'll talk about in a second. And they also seem to put content in the game. So when the game comes out, Season 0, the launch, okay, and then Season 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, there's potential of 20 months to 24 months of actual content they have ready to go when the game comes out. Now, I played, and I said this in the video that you guys can watch, but I'll say it here anyway, right? I played the alpha for Marvel's Avengers, or the beta, whatever you want to call it, and I played the Suicide Squad beta. Suicide Squad is a much better state than what Marvel's Avengers was, okay? People liked Marvel's Avengers, and I liked it because I'm a Marvel fan. I'm also a comic book fan back in the day, and I do like DC. I'm not a big fan of Suicide Squad characters, but I'm intrigued by how they're going to do the DC universe with this game based on what they have potentially coming down the path. So let's get to this now. Okay, Suicide Squad, this is from Lejeune on Twitter. It says Suicide Squad is all base launch, which makes it already top tier looter shooter. Now, if you want to compare it, there was before I get to the list, Dustin Liguri said that the game is where you just stand around and do nothing. You did this in Destiny for activities. Okay, you did this in Division for activities. You've done this in Warframe for activities. You did this in Anthem for activities. You did this in Marvel's Avengers for activities, where you would show up, do a thing, take over a thing, wait for the next wave to happen, wait around, and then the things would happen. Happens in all of those games. To specifically speak on this and say that this game just feels boring and it doesn't have... It's happened in all the other games that you've played, but you miraculously have never spoken of. Okay? Another thing about this is the world feels empty. This has been in Destiny. Where's all the pedestrians walking around? Where no one's mentioned that. Okay. Where's all the pedestrians walking around in Warframe? No one's mentioned that. What about Division 1 and 2? Where's all the people walking around the city? Don't remember that. Okay. It's the same. It's the same. Looters, shooters are the same. There's a formula they make, and they put their thing on it to make it interesting and more enjoyable for people that are fans of that IP. But maybe I'm delusional. Okay. So there's a Paragon system, okay? The Paragon system that's in Infinite, that is infinite. So you can make your characters and DLC characters more powerful after reaching level 30. They got rid of the gear score in this game, okay, which I think is a godsend, okay, right? A godsend, because now you don't have to be this, right, to get to this certain point. You play the game, you move on, and then you continue playing the game. If you're interested, you play the game. There's activities. You play the game. You get the weapons. Okay, you get to 30, and then once you get to 30, you start doing Paragon. Okay, when you get to the Paragon level, it's like the watch in Division, right? It just keeps going up. You keep leveling up. You keep doing stuff. Okay, plenty of stuff. They didn't put that into Marvel's Avengers until like a year and a half later before they put the Paragon system inside there. Okay, no gear levels. Okay, all these other games have gear levels. There's no gear levels here. Meaning, if you get a gun in Suicide Squads, and I've been saying this since day fucking one in Destiny, okay? We've had conversations in podcasts and stuff. I said, I want a gun that when it drops, okay, that if I choose as the player to use that gun for the next 5 years, I should be able to use that. And everyone's like, no, you can't do that because if you do that, there's power creep. Fuck you and your power creep, okay? A video game, okay? If Destiny didn't have a PvP attached to PvE, there wouldn't be power creep. But because they do all that stuff, that's what happens with that game. Okay? In this game, again, haven't played the game yet, but when a gun drops, I play the gun. Okay? Shooty with the gun. 1 week, 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, I can still use that gun and go, you know what? I really like that gun, and I'm going to keep leveling that gun up because that's the gun I have for my build. So that's fantastic, right? Evolving Metropolis with the story and post-launch seasons, okay? Because of Brainiac as the main person, and if you know Brainiac, he likes to be a collector type of thing. He likes to grab pieces and bring them in to Metropolis. So there's a glimpse of what Metropolis looks like at the very beginning of the game in the tutorial, and then it rewinds and says, I think it was like 2 weeks earlier or whatever it is, okay? This game, where they can constantly bring in other places, portals, right? It fits within the story, okay? So Metropolis will be evolving over time, okay? Plus, there's day-night cycles and whatnot as well. So day-night, nighttime, whatever, okay? I don't know if that's really a big point to it, but it's there, okay? Oh, and it's an open world, right? It's an open map. Unlike Marvel's Avengers, where you had to pick a map, and then you had small little quadrants, okay? So it's completely different than that as well. It says good gear and perks so far, okay? The gear, we'll watch a video from Jar in a little bit. He goes into more detail of the weapons, and I'll pause that as we play, okay? So there's that as well. Perk pre-rolls, crafting stats increase, okay? Again, if you drop a gun early on in the game, you find that gun. Like, I find the Icebreaker, and I'll make a Destiny comparison again. I found the Icebreaker in the very beginning of Destiny. It was like day 1, day 2, right? During the Fogoth fight, okay? And I used that gun until they ruined it and whatnot, and they nerfed it because that's what they do, okay? But now in this game, supposedly, because obviously they wouldn't have to nerf anything. They wouldn't, but they probably will because they'll probably nerf some things. But they shouldn't have to nerf any weapons because there's no PvP up in that, like exactly like what it is like the Crucible. Now, supposedly there's supposed to be some sort of game mode that's PvE or PvPvE mode, which would be more like Exoprimal type of thing. But again, we don't know much about that yet. Okay, so that's just hearsay. There's loadouts. I know. Let me catch my breath here a second. Did they say loadouts? Oh, are my eyes blurry? That says loadout. Yeah, it says loadout. There's loadouts in the actual game, which is amazing because there are other looters out there that are like the most popular ones didn't have loadouts for years. Okay, Marvel's Avengers had a blinking loadout button. All right, they had a blinking loadout button for 2 years, but never actually had a loadout. So there's loadouts, and get this, there's eight loadouts, and we'll see that in the video in a little bit. Right. Good traversal on weapons, right? The more you level up the skills, I have skill builds, or I don't have skill builds. I have a skill tree. Go watch those videos, each of the characters, okay? You can see as you level up your traversal, you're going to move faster, you're going to move fluent, you're going to do more damage because of the stuff, and you get to choose and pick what you want to do in your skill tree, and you can respec it at any time. So that's some good stuff as well. The social squad feature, it says get gear for offline friends and randoms. I'm going to give you good and bad about this, right? Good. There's more good than bad, by the way. More good than bad. Okay? But what's cool about this is the social feature is if I have a character and I'm not online, you guys see me playing online as a content creator, you'll see my build and you're like, oh, dude, that's a really cool build. If you want my guy to be on your team, you can do that. And that's cool. And then I get a couple of resources. I get weapon drops and stuff. But if you're a person like Asthma Gold, you're going to be overwhelmed because when you open up your thing, I don't know how it opens up yet, but your materials and weapons are you're gonna be, something's gonna happen there. It's gonna break. It's gonna break. I don't know how it's gonna work, but that's the bad part. But that's for content creators. That's not really bad. The good part about this is if you're a person that wants to play offline, if you're a person that doesn't have a lot of friends, but you see people on the list of the leaderboards and you want to grab that leaderboard person and bring them on your team, it makes your team stronger. So it helps them and it helps the other people out and whatnot. So this builds up a really cool community, okay, in my opinion. Okay, there was a lot of builds when we played Marvel's Avengers, okay, that if I had a Hulk or whatever and someone wanted to come in, they're like, hey, I want to play, we need to build this boss. I was like, oh, hold on a second, let me get my Hulk in, right? Now I'm playing there, but I brought, because I leveled up, I'm bringing my Hulk into there, and then it made it easier for people to beat the boss. Now, I don't actually have to put my time in as a person. It doesn't matter if you're a content creator or not. If you build up your thing, but you don't want to always help people because you can't, you can help thousands of people at the exact same time because they can bring your character into their game. And because you are working your ass off and making your character of King Shark or Harley Quinn really badass and OP, okay, they can just bring your character into their game and it helps them out. That's a pretty cool thing, right? So that's another cool aspect, I think, of the social feature. I'd like to know more about that. They named 2 game modes after the fact. Now, I said this a couple of weeks ago or months ago, actually, in a video. I said, I hope they have like a Black Tusk type of thing. Like once you beat the story, then the game evolves a little bit and like something else happens. Supposedly it does. There's a horde mode and then a strikes, like strike mode, okay, which is like Destiny type of strikes. So there's 2 end game content or mid game content. I'm not really too sure if you want to say end game, but there's going to be horde mode and at the base level when the game comes out, okay? Already teased the first DLC. The first DLC, if you guys haven't seen it, is a picture. You can kind of see it above my head in the little tier. I'll bring it up in a second. Is the Joker's house or kingdom? Actually, you know what? Let me just bring it up real fast. We'll go into the answers. Yeah, here it is. Okay, this is what you see. They showed this at the very end. This is the concept drawing of it. This is not inside the actual game, right? It's a drawing. And if you zoom in, you see this upside-down newspaper here, and it's the Joker. Now, there was leaks or data mine stuff that said the Joker was coming to the game, and then voila, boom. And now that is the Daily Planet. Okay. Now, we can assume that this is, and again, I'm assuming, that this is Brainiac taking a piece from another dimension or something and bringing it into this dimension, hence why the Joker, because the Joker's dead. The Joker's dead in this universe because of the Arkham universe, but again, multiverses and whatnot, this could potentially be where we go up against the Joker in the beginning and then you recruit him. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if this is how it's going to be, but it'd be pretty badass if we go on a mission, we have to go through the Daily Planet, fight through the Daily Planet to get to the Joker, to recruit the Joker, and then we use the Joker. Again, I don't know if that's how it's going to go, but that would be pretty cool if it did. Okay? So, that's another thing for the first DLC. There's cross-play, cross-progression. Marvel's Avengers did not have this, and this is why the problem with the matchmaking took so long on certain consoles. PlayStation had no problem, PC had no problem, Xbox had a problem because there was less people playing the game. So, cross-play, cross-progression, this is a huge thing for this game as well. There's more new gear and weapons with DLC, so every time a game or a season comes out, there's going to be a season, there's going to be a new character, there's going to be new gear and new mods and new weapons, okay, with inside that, and a new area, supposedly. So per se, that you just saw the Joker's area, maybe for season 1, they bring the Joker's land in, you'll fight on that land, and maybe it disappears, or maybe it gets bigger and bigger. I don't know. Maybe they'll have the same excuse that Destiny has, the game's getting too big, we're going to have to delete stuff. I don't know. Okay, but we'll see what happens. There's leaderboards after the mission reports. This is something that I wish Marvel's Avengers had. I said, man, I wish I knew how my guy was going against your guy, and we have different builds and whatnot. And they're doing it right from the start. So there's leaderboards at the end, and there's also, not only is there a benefit of leaderboards as you're the best of that group, but then your guy becomes the leader of that squad to pick the next mission, which is actually pretty cool. And then there's customizable UI. A lot of people don't know what to do about this game, right? They want to bitch about this game like it's the Gotham Knights and it's 30 frames per second and it's not Batman Arkham. And I feel like they're doing exactly what they did for Starfield, right? The maps are too small, you're hitting the boundaries, eyes are popping out in the back of people's heads. This is not actual like things that are problems with the core of the gameplay mechanics, right? This is like things on the outer edge, right? They're worried about the customizable UI, okay, which the word customizable in the front of that, there's people running with it that the UI is just too chaotic and blah, 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 right? You can customize it. You can turn things off. You can shut it all off, right? I don't know if it's customizable as far as making it bigger or smaller, but you can customize it, which is a big step for a lot of games that don't let you do that, especially on console, okay? So these are just a couple things that are coming to the game, and I think this is fantastic because this shows, right, that where I'm just in it for the story of Suicide Squad, okay? I really want to play Rocksteady's Arkham universe. They did an awesome job with Batman, right? And now they're doing a job and a story with the Suicide Squad in the Arkham universe 5 years after the Batman games, okay? I have no doubt that they can tell us a good story. What I'm worried about, what I was worried about, was the live service stuff. Now, just them telling us all this doesn't all of a sudden just wash away what happened for all the other games that have promised live service stuff with free content going along. Everything could be fine as long as they're not chasing their tails. I've said this multiple times. I'm super excited to see what they do with this game and what the characters they bring in, the villains that you go up against, and all of these things. Like, I can't imagine, like in my head right now, I want to fight after the story's over. They bring Aquaman DLC and I fight Aquaman in the water. And then all of a sudden I bring Hawkeye or Hawkman and I'm fighting him in the air, right? You could just keep bringing people in to fight more villains, more heroes that are villains, or even villains that are being mind controlled by Brainiac, and you get to go up against, and maybe you can recruit them later. This would be awesome to do. Now, that's my expectations? No, but that's my fantasy of what I wish it would happen, and potentially that could happen, okay? And that's what I'm excited about for this game. I'm excited about this game because I haven't played a looter shooter really in like 2 years. Like, Marvel's Avengers wasn't really a looter shooter. It was a looter, okay? But I'm excited to jump back into a looter shooter, and I'm excited that it's a game that I'm actually interested in. I've talked about this in the past about his IPs, right? You could give me the exact same game as Destiny, but give it to an IP that I actually care about, and then I think it's a better game. Fundamentally, if it's the exact same game but with IP that I love, it's a better game for me because I'm interested in the characters. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you guys think? I don't think this is a Marvel's Avengers, okay? I know a lot of people want them to fail. They want the game to fail so they can go ahead and make that Batman Arkham game for them that they always wanted. They waited 8 years for that to happen. Now they have to wait another 8 years for it to happen again. And they would rather not play a game than have fun with the game, waiting for the game that they think might come in the future. So, what was that, like a 40-minute rant? Jesus. All right, let me see. Sarge says, preach. Fuck your power creep. I'm excited for Suicide Squad. Dave Rose says, I'm excited for Suicide Squad, the story of being the live service game. And I worried about the longevity of this. Because we know Rocksteady wants to be jumping on a daily for a long time. Not sure. Again, if you, here's my thing. If you don't know about this game and you don't know if you want to be a live shooter person or a live service person, don't get it day one. Don't get it day one. Wait. Wait for the articles to come out and people to bullshit or talk and like or dislike, and then make that purchase. There will be 100% be a power creep with PvE, i.e. Gjallarhorn or G-Horn Recluse Mountaintop. I hope Batman is the second death. No, it'll probably be like Flash. I don't know, but I think Flash, Green Lantern, Batman, Superman. But there might be a couple in there we don't know about. That was the bait, bro? Icebreaker? Yeah. Let's see here. 8 loadouts. Holy shit. Must be a reason, right? Yeah, we're going to go into a video in just a second. We'll show you. Suicide Squad looks fun, but I don't care about what critics say. I mean, Ron, that's how I am at all times, right? Like, I understand if people disagree with me or the reviews come out, but I also judge a game for what it is. A lot of people, like, they play RPGs, but they're not RPG fans, or they play sports games and they're not sports fans, right? They already have a predetermined thing going into that. If Rocksteady is smart, and I believe they are, they will be getting the Joker as a playable character. Oh, he's a playable character. He's 100% a playable character. I watched the video of the comic called The Justice League versus the Suicide Squad. Eventually, they team up. There's possibility we get something like that. Now, Clips, that would be. Now, I've mentioned that in the past, right? Months and months and months ago, I said, wouldn't it be cool if instead of me killing the Flash, I save him and then I can be the Flash? Or maybe there's something down the road that, what about if they did a PvP mode, which is standalone in the game, okay? Just standalone, where it's just Justice League members versus Suicide Squad members. That'd be pretty cool. Krebsy says there was multiple Jokers in Arkham Knight. Do the people getting infected with the real Joker blood? So maybe Suicide's Joker is one of them. Joker or Harley had a son. It could be, but I'm pretty sure it's from a separate universe. It's not from this universe. It almost sounds feature complete at launch, right? And here's the thing, though, Jones. I don't want this to get by. I think they were supposed to come out. They announced this in 2020. It was supposed to come out in 2021 or 2022, something like that. And then it got delayed, and then it got delayed again, right? So I guarantee you this game was a much different game, and they made some changes because of what happened with Marvel's Avengers and the problems that they had, and they fixed those problems, okay? Because if this game came out 2 years ago or even last year, I think we're having a completely different conversation. I think because they delayed it 10 more months, I think we're in good condition now for this game. If this game came out 10 months ago, I think right now is the point where it would actually become a good game and not at launch. You know what I'm saying? Saying the Joker isn't a good character is like saying Robert Downey Jr. was shit Iron Man. I think Joker's an awesome character. Joker isn't a good character, sorry, but he's a freaking nutshell. It was good for his time, but the problem is he's exact same as he was in the 70s. I mean, again, Travis, here you go again. Just saying your thoughts as like facts. So ridiculous. So is this game confirmed 30 frames per second, or has it been talked about? I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I thought it was 60, but I could be wrong, Rose. I don't know. I could have sworn, and you know what? Let me go to their Q&A, their frequently asked questions. Hold on. Because I think it might have said it. Let's see here. Access. Costs. Available. Physical. Pre-order. Voice acting. Original story. Series. Swap between characters. Co-op. No, it doesn't. It doesn't say. It doesn't say on their website. If it was public there would be outrage. I mean, Doesn't fucking matter. It'll be outraged regardless. It's like, I want a hamburger. And then you go to a chicken place. You ask for a hamburger. Right? And you're like, place is stupid. Like, well, they don't have a hamburger here. Went to a chicken place. Well, it's stupid. It's not the burger I was looking for. It's like, I don't understand. Lock 30 frames per second would be a bummer. Get it for PC? If you have a PC. 30 frames on PlayStation 5 due to all the salt and tears. All right, let me bring up. We got 2. 1. Play. Okay, so all the links that we've done for the stories are down below. Okay, all the links, even the Lejeune. I didn't bring up Miller's stuff, but Miller is down there too. You can click on his links inside the Twitter as well. We're gonna look at Jarv. Jarv is a YouTuber, 185,000 subscribers. He doesn't need my help, but hey, we're gonna look at his video because he was one of the people that got to play it and talks about stuff that we have no privy to. So we're going to get educated and watch his video, and I'll break it down. I'll stop and pause and make comments and whatnot. So, yeah, let's check this out. Let me gotta stop the real fast.
What is up, guys? Jarv here, back today with another Suicide Squad video. In today's video, we're going to take a closer look at all the loot and gear from the recent playtest event.
Is it too loud? If it's too loud, let me know. Might be a little too loud.
Now, as you may be aware, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a dynamic new third-person action shooter being developed by Rocksteady. This is very much a looter shooter, and as we all know, loot is the most important thing when it comes to these games. Now, weapons and any other items can come in 7 rarities. These include the common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, infamy, and notorious items.
So there's infamy and notorious. I thought it was legendary and then notorious. So there's infamy in between, and then there's notorious. Okay, there's so. Not that I want you guys to go watch my videos, but I do. Right? If you go look at the skill trees that we have, you guys are gonna make some crazy ass builds. Okay, I know the community that was in Marvel's Avengers, and I can't wait to see what kind of builds they make inside of Suicide Squad. Okay, there's gonna be some crazy ass builds inside this game.
Now, with each character being able to equip one of 3 weapon types across 4 different manufacturers, you will discover the same weapon types on different weapon archetypes. Now, in terms of manufacturers, these include Armortech, GCPD, Star Labs, and LexCorp. Now, it is possible to...
Okay, real quick, I want you to look at this, right? We have, actually, I have a... Let me bring it up real fast. I have a screenshot. I have a screenshot from last year of the same screen, and there was gear score and stuff on here. Okay, they got rid of they got rid of the gear score completely. Where do I put it? I find it now. Seriously. Oh, here it is. We got this one. This one. Is this the same? Is this a newer one? I don't even know if this is the newer one or not. Let me see. You know, this is the older one. So you can see just a little bit, right? There's a little bit difference. I know it's hard to see, but there's a gear score over here, okay? And there's a gear score next to Boomerang, and now they completely got rid of the gear score. So everything's the same. If you notice over here as well, there's a giant like level 50 of what you are. There's no level anymore for like you can go up to level 30, okay? But there's no level system over there anymore. Okay.
To scroll through all your weapons as a single list, or by using your bumpers, you can focus in on a particular weapon type. And when it comes to weapons across multiple archetypes, you will find the same names, also with the same intrinsic augment.
Now, when you find weapons and you upgrade the weapons, right? You find a weapon, it's your weapon. Then you want to put more stuff onto that weapon. As you level up and put certain things on that, you'll get the +8 ammo, reverse capacity, critical hit damage for that if it's a blue, right? As you put the mods on it, right? And the way you play. So your play style is a big forming factor of how much damage your weapons and what your character is going to be doing.
For example, you'll find Turkey Shoot available as different weapons, all developed by LexCorp, and each one of these weapons allows the firearm to deal 250% increased critical hit damage, but will have a 0% critical hit chance against enemies that are in slow motion. Now, this actually pairs really well with the Great Suspender, which you can equip as a melee weapon. This will throw all combatants into the air on a melee hit, and whilst they are in slow motion, and you won't benefit from any...
Like, people are worried, why, I'm Captain Boomerang. Why am I using a weapon? I can't use the boomerang. You can use the boomerang, right? People made up this own thing in their head that they can't do certain things, but they can.
Crit hit chance. Each target you do hit will be on the receiving end of 250% more damage. Another weapon that I really enjoyed during the playtest is called Stacked Deck. This is from GCPD Lockup. Now on Deadshot, this is available as an assault rifle, but I was a big fan of this as a shotgun on King Shark. Now this firearm's damage is reduced by 50%, but for each successive hit on an enemy with this firearm, this will cause it to deal 5% more damage from all sources for 10 seconds, up to a maximum of 250%. Now whilst these...
Hold on a second. I want to listen to that again, because that sounds like a ridiculous...
hit on an enemy with this firearm, this will cause it to deal 5% more damage from all sources for 10 seconds, up to a maximum of 250%.
That's crazy.
Now, whilst these main legendary augments do remain the same, each legendary weapon also comes with additional augments with various rarities. Now, you can choose to overhaul these if you wish.
Okay, so there's an overhaul thing, right? The augment stats of all weapons attachments on this item will be re-rolled, right? So you can re-roll to try to get the rolls that you want for your build. Okay? You could literally just play one character. See, I'm a little overwhelmed right now thinking about all the stuff you have to do with all 4 characters. And then as they add more characters, this is going to be my main game, I think. Right? Now, obviously, if the gameplay gets a little stagnant or whatnot, we'll see. But as of right now, the loop in my head is... Even if the gameplay is go around, shoot the same guys over and over, but I get that drop every once in a while that happens, that's the hook right there. That's the hook right there. That's why I played Borderlands and Borderlands 2 so much. I would just farm the actual weapons.
Which will randomly roll each augment, or if you've unlocked all members of the support squad, Toyman will allow you to individually modify each augment. So if you are looking to focus in on things like crit hit chance, shield harvesting, or even your traversal and additional grenade resource, then these are all things you could lean into by mid-maxing all your weapons. Now, as well as overhauling your gear, you can also apply afflictions to them. You'll unlock these from Poison Ivy. A thing to bear in mind, though, is you can apply this out in Metropolis or at the Hall of Justice. If you do this out on the battlefield, though, there is a 75% field tax.
Oh, wow. So you can upgrade your weapons out in the world, but there's a 75% increase on the field tax than it was just go back to the actual Justice Hall, or Hall of Justice.
So it will cost you considerably more to overhaul and re-roll your weapons or apply a new affliction. Now, due to that increased cost, you will find yourself traveling back.
Yeah, why wouldn't you travel back
to the Hall of Justice, and you can even fast travel to it. This will unlock once you fully assemble the support squad, where Penguin will allow...
Okay, I want to read this. Hall of Justice, Rapid Transit. You can now rapidly return to the Hall of Justice map and screen with your support squad now fully assembled. You can visit Penguin to craft new gear, Ivy to apply afflictions, melee weapons, a toy man, or modify your gear augments completely. Their support squad mission to unlock more options. You can also collect the care package rewards of Argus, Quartermaster of Aaron Cash. Swap out your current squad members at Colony Flag. You can also do new weapons at the gun range.
how to craft weapons, Ivy can apply your afflictions, and Toyman can modify all your gear's augments. As well as that, you can also collect care packages from Argus Quartermaster Aaron Cash, change characters at Colonel.
Right, Eclipse. So basically, this is the way I look at it, right? Early on, there's no way you're going to be out in the field spending 75% more of your resources and stuff to do that. But now, you got hundreds of hours in this game. You pick up something, you want to switch something, you're like, screw it, I don't even care. I got so much resources, 75%. Let me put that thing on the bad boy now because I don't want to waste time, right? That's what's going to happen. Here it says care packages. Intercept Brainiac's carrier drones in the city so that the hack can also phase the civilians to safety. Argos Quartermaster Aaron Cash will provide rewards. The more civilians you save, the better the quality of the care packages. Check in with Cash each day to pick up care packages.
Flag, or even try out your new weapons and augments over in the gun range. Now, care packages are another way of earning additional rewards.
Here's the care packages that you get. This is like the Division, where you get the stashes after you complete certain rewards or certain missions or quests.
Rewards, you get these by intercepting Brainiac's carrier drones in Metropolis, and by taking them out and saving civilians. The more civilians you save, the better quality of gear from your care package. And you'll need to check in with Cash each and every day.
Yeah, man, this Borderlands is in my head right now. I'm like, oh yeah, this is good.
To pick up all your care packages. Now, during our playtest, we were granted with 3 Infamy sets. These were from Gizmo, Penguin, and LexCorp. Now, these were 2-piece sets, and if you highlight each set, you can see which items you need to equip in order to complete the set. The Penguin set, you need to have a grenade and traversal mod equipped. The same can be said for Gizmo, and for LexCorp, you needed a shield and traversal mod. These need to be from the same set, and by equipping...
So you got sets, so it's like Division, right? It's like Division, where you got to put the sets of the gear on to get that bonus, right? This Lex one here, it says... You've been truly fantastic, collaborated generally. I look forward to working with you together in the future. Best regards. Sorry, dedicated note. It says 50% critical hit damage to brute enemies. Critical hit generate 1% Suicide Squad resource. Reversal attacks do 50% less damage, but have a 100% chance to electrify all enemies hit. Right? And you beef that up with your build if you're going to a certain build. It'd be pretty cool.
Both pieces of gear, this will unlock both bonus traits. So for LexCorp, this provides plus 50% damage to brute enemies, and the level 2-piece bonus allows critical hits to generate 1% Suicide Strike resource, and traversal attacks do 50% less damage, but have a... All
right, right now, if anyone's listening from Rocksteady, after the fact or anything down the road, if someone knows somebody, make sure when I delete something in this game, it's not 1 by 1. I want to right trigger, click, 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 delete, mass deletion, mass sale. Please, please do not have me go 1 by 1, hit OK, because that ain't going to fly. Quality of life, fix it before it even gets in the game at launch.
100% chance to electrify all enemies that are hit. Now, as for Penguin's Infamy set, this has also got a 2-piece bonus. The first is where shooting frozen enemies regens 2% shield per shot. With the second bonus, traversal attacks deal no damage but have a 100% chance of freezing all enemies. It also provides plus 8% passive affliction resource regen per second. And as for Gizmo's Infamy set, the first bonus provides a plus 50% damage dealt to burning enemies. And with the second piece bonus, grenades do 50% less damage but have a 100% chance to
You did
burn
24,000.
all enemies that you hit. And when your shield is broken, this releases a burst of Diablo Blaze that burns all enemies within 15 meters, and this can only happen once every 30 seconds. As you can see, all these armor sets are entirely unique and will completely change your playstyle. Now, naturally, all these bonuses stack on top of any talents.
Now, look at all the UI people are complaining about, right? You stare at the middle of the screen, right? There ain't nothing in the middle of the screen, right? There's nothing in the middle of the screen happening, okay? You got your thing on the edge over here. You got your things over here. This is standard, right? This is standard down here. This is standard over here, right? This is standard because you're with a squad, okay? This is probably standard as well. This is your, right? This is the meter for bad guys or whatever, and then this is your health and whatnot, right? What's overwhelming about this? What's overwhelming about this? right?
So
And you
you've
can shut
already
off
equipped
anything. If
on
you
your
don't want these numbers popping up on your screen, you can take it off. You can take this off too. You can get rid of all of this stuff, right? You can get rid of all of this, but it's always on the edge of the screen, right? It's like these people have never played any other game before with UI. Someone points it out and they're like, "Oh yeah, UI is terrible. See that UI? The UI? Did you ever play any other looter shooter? No? All right, cool.
talent trees, as well as any other augments that you have on.
I did a shot the other day in I said if your thing looks like this, hold on. If your thing looks like this, don't talk to me. Let me show you. What is it in general? Did I put it in general, guys? Where the hell is the thing I posted here with the screenshot? Yeah, here it is. Right? If your thing doesn't look like this, don't complain. Okay? Because this is what they're making it sound like it is. Right? They're making it sound like it looks like this. But obviously it doesn't look like this. Right? This and the people that play this game will be like, that's not bad. Not bad. Because they can still see the center of the screen where they're actually playing. Okay? People are ridiculous. Ridiculous.
On any other item. It's an absolutely awesome way of
World of
elevating your
Warcraft.
build and really
It's any
leaning into
MMO,
different play
to be
styles.
fair,
now,
Travis.
as well as the infamy sets, we were able to earn a notorious item in the form of the black.
All right. Notorious weapon and items are now available. Swipe to the personal property and powerful villains unleash unique effects you won't find anywhere else. So there you go.
Masks Bullet Storm. Now, I was on Deadshot at the time.
I think it was
which
World
meant
of Warcraft.
this
It might be.
as a
It might be.
sniper rifle. As we've seen from some of the
Knights of the Old
Suicide
Republic.
Squad Insider videos, this can also
Or the Old
drop as a
Republic.
minigun. Now, the Black Masks Bullet Storm allows each enemy that is hit with the firearm to receive Black Masks.
Dude, that gun looks dope.
Bullet Storm allows each enemy that is hit with the firearm to receive Black Mask's mark. Now, by applying this to 3 different enemies within 9 seconds, this causes all marked targets to trigger a fiery explosion that burns all nearby enemies. Once again, this is on top of any other augments that can be of various rarities that you can re-roll if you wish.
Oh, right. I was talking about Star Wars: The Old Republic. Wait, I think it was World of Warcraft though.
And we were fortunate enough to get our hands on this as part of a mission completion. Now, you can get a really good view of where all your bonuses are.
Oh, wow. Look at this thing. What does it say up there?
By looking at the
I can't see it because the
overview.
why won't the bar go away? Fine, go away. I can't see it. Anyway, so this is critical hit damage, critical hit chance, traversal attack buildup, overall damage, sniper damage, SMG, shotgun, melee, grenade, sniper, critical attack, strike, damage versus grunts, melee damage versus grunts, grenade versus brutes, grunt damage versus reduction, damage versus frozen, application rate, resistance, shield overcharge, health, shield, traversal, deep pockets, credits pickup amount. Okay, XP gain, XP per kill. Oh, so you could pick up stuff that actually helps you with the amount of credits you pick up. Shotgun ammo, grenade. Interesting. And then it tells you your overall your damage and whatnot.
Screen. This will show you exactly where you're getting your additional bonuses across each and every item. So if you do want to focus in on a particular playstyle, whether that be crit hit chance, crit hit damage, traversal, shield harvesting, counter shot, or critical reload, then this is the perfect place to be to get a great overview of your build. Now, once you're happy with your setup, as we covered in our recent...
Look, guys. A loadout. That alone, I'm going to pick up the game. And I'm not being facetious. I'm being dead serious. I'm being dead serious. A loadout at the beginning of the game. Holy shit. 2024 is going to be a good year.
preview video, you can in fact save your loadouts. There is a massive list of loadout options. You can include the entire squad, include or exclude any transmog items, and even the talent tree itself. Now, these loadouts aren't just a benefit to you, but can be a benefit to your friends too. As part of the social squad, this actually...
Hold on one second. I want to go back and listen to him one more time.
There is a massive list of loadout options. You can include the entire squad, include or exclude any transmog items, and even the talent tree itself. Now, these loadouts aren't just a benefit to you, but can be a benefit to your friends too. As part of the social squad, this actually allows you to bring other players' characters and builds into your...
So not only can you bring other characters, and you can bring their builds as well.
Game as an AI character, and if your friends decide to use one of your loadouts, then you'll get some sweet additional rewards.
Interesting.
This is a really cool and unique social feature, and one to definitely lean into once the game launches on the 2nd of February. Now, what you'll notice is that no item has a gear score, making all your gear valuable.
You just shove that up that guy's ass. He did. Right up his keister. Right up his keister.
And as you work your way through the different rarities of items, this will improve its accuracy, stability, and also DPS stats. As you can see, there's lots of layers and depth with a lot of the systems in Suicide Squad. And which ones are you most excited for?
Watch out, guys. There's the Fortnite bus. Fuck's sake.
Or then be sure to sound off down in the comments below.
Now I want to go to Jarv's got some gameplay as well. Just straight up, just raw gameplay. So you can hear like the sound effects of the guns and whatnot. And get the gist of like, look at the UI on the screen. Maybe it's maybe you're on the fence about this game. You're like, I don't know if I want this. You can shut all this off, but just take it all in. All right, so this is Jarv. You can find his link down below in the description. All those stories that we went over today. You can also find those links in the description down below. New skill up vid. Oh, skill up's got a video on this. Or are you talking about the skill tree, Altair? I have all 4 up there.
Identify the new target. Cool. Keep mulching bad guys for more afflictions. Oh, especially big ones.
This game is all about moving, man. You gotta move.
I catch air, they catch bullets.
Well, actually, how long is it? How long is his video? I like watching skill up stuff.
This video is brought to you by channel
Yeah, 19
partner
minutes.
4 years
We'll watch
running
it.
Squarespace. They've once again re-signed the channel for another year, helping
I'll
me
add
live
him
my
to the,
dream career, just like they help millions
description.
of other people with their dream careers, their personal projects, their hobbies, their community building. It all happens through Squarespace's intuitive website creation and hosting tools. So to learn more about that, stick around to the end of the video. Alright, so I finally get to talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Funny story about this one. Warner Brothers hosted a hands-on session for select media and content creators in LA the same week of the Game Awards, and I was planning on being there that week, so I emailed them in advance, and I was like, hey guys, can I come along? And they're like, nah, and I'm like, alright, I see how it is. Lo and behold, their carefully orchestrated PR campaign exploded in their face. The press from outlets like Eurogamer, VGC, and in particular IGN were bleak. IGN went so far as to run the headline, "We played it and we didn't like it." That is not the sort of headline IGN puts out very often. The round of previews was so bad that it forced Warner Brothers to take the extraordinary step of lifting the NDA that applied to those who...
I mean, to be fair, I don't like that he said that, well, he didn't get it. I mean, obviously, you're not expected to get it. I mean, not everyone gets it. There was a small group of people, but hey, whatever.
Participated in a closed beta that happened in December of last year. That was obviously not the plan, since that's not how closed beta NDAs are meant to work, but clearly the negative preview sent Warner Brothers scrambling into damage control mode. Now, I actually played this video game. I managed to sneak into that closed beta test last year, and because the NDA is now lifted, I'm allowed to talk about it. And as cathartic as it might be to join the pylon, I will admit that I actually find myself in a different place when it comes to this game, because I actually enjoyed it, but not for any of the reasons that I suspect Warner Brothers executives might have hoped for. What I mean by that is, I cannot see how this works as a live service. Nothing about it, not a single thing, made me go, oh shit, can't wait to play this game for 500 more hours. If there was any of the secret sauce here that greases...
Why is that, though? Why is it that you can't picture yourself playing this game for 500 hours? And if you go back in time and Destiny came out, at that moment, how did you know you were going to play that game for 500 hours? You didn't. You didn't. You didn't know you were going to play that game for 500,000, 2,000 hours, right?
Live service wheels, I certainly did not feel it, and I'm going to be very interested to see what else Rocksteady have in store to make that live service promise a more compelling value proposition. But as a single player or co-op campaign, I saw enough in the storytelling, the presentation, and the core mechanics to make me interested in a 15 to 20 hour playthrough. I really did. For me, it's shaping up to be something like Marvel's Avengers, which had a pretty decent single-player campaign when the live service garbage wasn't doing its absolute best to undermine it. How that eventually looks for Suicide Squad, I can't say. We won't know until we play it for ourselves on February 2nd, but if Rocksteady are able to continue delivering the story, characters, and set pieces that I saw in those opening hours, then I suspect I'll have a good time with this for 15 to 20 hours, put it down when the credits roll, and then never touch it again. Because yeah, as I said, I just can't...
Says the guy who comes back to Destiny once a year, replays it, plays the shit out of it, right? Skill Up is known for this. He plays Destiny, he puts it down, doesn't play it for a really long time, goes back, and then does, well, I had a really good time with this game.
See how this works as a live service.
Setting a new recon point. Go.
So let's be clear about what I played. It was a closed beta test on PC. It was the first 3 to 4 hours of the game, encompassing the tutorial style intro, the opening missions, and culminating in a number of narrative showdowns with different members of the Justice League, namely Batman, the Flash, and Green Lantern. I never got to fight any of these guys as the beta ended before you could, so I don't have any feedback on the Flash boss battle like the media previews did, but I did play with every character, I watched every cutscene, I explored what I could of the open world, and I got in my fair share of scrapes. As I said, it was a very dense 3 to 4-ish hours. Do note that I was not able to record any of that footage, and that part of the NDA still applies, so we're relying here on trailers and official gameplay. So I'm going to say right off the top that I feel a bit sorry for Rocksteady here, because the deck is very stacked against them at this point. Whether or not they chose to make this game, or were forced to by...
That's another thing a lot of people are going with. Even though there's articles and interviews talking about how they were making this game. There was a Suicide Squad game being made by the people that created Gotham Knights, Montreal, and they canceled it, and then they picked up this Suicide Squad game. They've been working on this game since the last time they worked on the last game, which was Batman Arkham VR, I believe, and they haven't been working on anything else. Everyone can't imagine that Rocksteady wants to do this. They have to convince themselves that they're forced by, like, gunpoint. They're like, you're gonna work on this live service game. They're like, okay, I'll start coding.
Warner Brothers executives, this game arrives after a number of wonderfully talented single-player focused studios were essentially forced by management to make a live service boondoggle that actual fans of those studios would never have wanted them to make. BioWare and Anthem continues to be the gold standard cautionary tale, Crystal Dynamics and Marvel's Avengers, Platinum Games and Babylon's Fall, Arcane and Redfall. The results for each of those games was diabolically bad in terms of player counts and commercial performance, but we don't care about how much money these games made for shareholders. What we care about is the fact that these people could have been making something else, something good, but due to the
But how do you know that this is not good? You know what I mean?
imperatives of the live service gold rush, they were instead forced to make something that had a cash shop and a battle pass as the central load-bearing pillar, with the game haphazardly built around that. Had all of those other games I just listed been fantastic slam dunks that everyone loves, Suicide Squad would no doubt be getting a pretty rosy reception. But from the minute we learned that this was a live service looter shooter with colored guns and lots of stats and a cash shop and a battle pass, we immediately and very fairly recalled all of those other flops, lamenting that the studio that gave us the Arkham trilogy spent their time on this when they could have been making literally anything else.
I don't like that the artist doesn't get to make what the artist wants. Right? I know the customer was a Batman Arkham fans, and that's what all they should make. Dance for me, monkey, dance. And I don't agree with that. They made money off that. There was a successful series, and they cut it off. And now they want to make something else.
But I really do go into this with an open mind, because I'm okay with live services if they are good. Just last year alone, I started playing both Diablo 4 and the finals regularly. Simultaneously, I'm also just quietly cheering for Rocksteady, because it's always sad when these great studios make something that sucks, and it would be nice if Rocksteady didn't suffer that fate, especially given that they've been working on this for like 7+ years. Despite going in with that open mind and with that bias towards Rocksteady, I still cannot for the life of me see how
At least he admits that he has the bias.
Suicide Squad lives as a live service that people will play for hundreds or thousands of hours. For me, the core gameplay, it just isn't where it needs to be. Playing with all 4 characters, switching regularly between them, I got a good sense of what combat is built on, at least so far, and primarily it's about movement. Each character has their own very unique traversal mechanic that will get them up and around. So for Harley Quinn, she swings on this bat glider that she can summon on command, and Deadshot uses a jetpack, and King Shark can jump really high like the Hulk, and Captain Boomerang throws his boomerang and then he kind of teleports towards it. Most of the combat happens outdoors.
It's okay. It's okay if a hunter teleports, right? It's okay if a Destiny character jumps really far, but not anybody else. Nobody else can do that.
On the city's rooftops, and enemies are really spread out and at different elevations, so most of the combat is actually about reaching your opponent or getting a clear line of sight on them, since enemies love to erect barriers absolutely everywhere, and many of them have their weak spots on their backs. When you have them in your sights and you're in range, it really is just about left clicking on them, trying to aim for the big purple pimple if they have one to deal bonus damage. Yeah, sure, there are melee finishes and a shield recharge mechanic where you have to kind of get them low and then charge into them to refill your shields. That's kind of annoying, to be honest, but whatever. There's air juggling, which is pretty great as well, but I would say that a good 70% of combat is traversal and positioning rather than abilities and gunfire. No matter how many things
Here's where I disagree with him there. He didn't play it long enough to build up your skill tree to do other things, right? So he says that there's no gun ability and gunplay, right? It's about traversal. And the skill tree and everything is guns, traversal, and everything. And you get better and more powerful as you do it. So his statement there is because it's early on. Now, sure, is it credible? Yes. Early on, it is.
I shot with my guns, it never felt really rewarding to bring down a foe, because most of the battle was just about getting to them rather than actually besting them. Speaking of guns, yeah, I mean, I really hope they're more interesting later on, because right now there's nothing to them. A sniper rifle, an assault rifle, a shotgun, a minigun, an SMG, it's a very generic arsenal when you could be designing some really fun, interesting weapons.
Which they have. They have Notorious, Infamous, and you get to level up the gears as you level up the guns.
Based on these characters in this universe. Maybe all of that comes later, but if the only way these weapons become more interesting is through various rarities and stat boosts and status effects, like setting your target on fire, then that is going to be a very big missed opportunity. But just to be clear though, the gameplay is fun. It really is, because it's fast.
Like I said, it is fun
And frenetic and flashy.
Like he didn't want to say it. He didn't want to admit that it was fun.
And vertical, and you're very in command. Moment to moment, it is a power fantasy, and it's technically very sound as well. I do enjoy it, and I kind of look forward to mucking around in this sandbox for 20 or so hours. but any more than that, I just can't see it. So far, I think it lacks the mechanical depth that's needed to truly sustain a live service game, a game that you're meant to want to play for hundreds or thousands of hours. Obviously, it could become much deeper and more interesting later on, but you can play The Division or Destiny or Warframe for just a few minutes and immediately sense their long-tailed chops. Hell, you could even feel that with the Avengers, because for all that game's faults, the core character combat for each of those heroes was fantastic, and had the rest of the game been better, I could have seen myself playing a lot more of that game. But it wasn't, and so I didn't, and I guess most other people didn't either. And that kind of leads me into another point. One of the best parts of the Avengers was that each character's kit felt authentic to them. The starting point for each character's design was very clearly
good.
How do you make the player feel like they are the Hulk, that they are Thor, that they are Cap, or whoever? That was also the same starting point that Rocksteady had when they designed Batman's combat. How to make the player feel like Batman. They were so successful that they not only invented an entirely new combat model that would be endlessly replicated by other games, but it also inspired the actual "it really makes you feel like Batman" meme, courtesy of, ironically enough, IGN. Suicide Squad does not have the same starting point. Here, the starting point...
Okay, hold on a second. First of all, Batman is one of the most recognizable comic book people in the world. Like, you say Batman, everyone knows who Batman is, right? We all know by when you say Batman, what Batman does, right? So, if I say Captain Boomerang, 90% of the people on planet Earth are like, who? Harley Quinn will be known more now because of the recent movies and films and stuff that came out. But otherwise, they'd be like, who? Right? So what game? What game would you have, like, if Harley Quinn was her own game by herself? It'd be like, man, you really feel like Harley Quinn. What, an insane chick that was a nurse? Like, I don't understand what that means compared to this. These are not Batman, Flash, Superman. These are bad guy criminals, and yes, they have powers, some of them, okay? But of course they're not going to feel like Batman.
Point is, Captain Boomerang needs to use a sniper rifle, and King Shark needs to use a minigun. How do we make that work? I cannot for the life of me understand why you would make this game and center it around really generic guns rather than around an interesting rendition of each anti-hero's core conceit. When I'm swinging on my magical teleporting bat glider as Harley Quinn, shooting an assault rifle as I float in midair, I'm having a good time, don't get me wrong, but I'm also thinking to myself, to repurpose that IGN meme, this game really makes me feel like I am not Harley Quinn. That is...
But what is Harley Quinn? But Harley Quinn is literally an insane chick that fell in love with Joker.
Something that a lot of people, myself included, won't be able to get past. I do think the combat is fun, but I suspect it lacks the legs to carry it the live...
But she has those. She has a baseball bat and a handgun.
Service distance that Warner Brothers executives are hoping for, and I know it lacks the authentic commitment to the source material that fans of this universe will be hoping for. With those things as weak as they are, it's a damn good thing that the storytelling and presentation is as strong as it is.
Well, hey there, sleepyhead.
This is why I'm playing.
Interrogation to get back to.
The Flash is alive. And he has Luther.
One damn thing at a time.
Yeah, looking forward to killing the Justice League and all, but you know, these guns are a bit shit.
The setup for this game is actually pretty rad, and it's right there in the title. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Now just think for a moment about what it would take to kill a man who can move faster than the speed of light, a dude who can instantly conjure up pretty much anything he wants with just a thought, or Superman, whose whole thing is, you know, basically being literally unkillable. That is a pretty cool puzzle for us to
What's his boss battle going to be like?
begin wrapping our heads around as we begin this story, but it becomes even cooler when you meet the people who are trying to solve that puzzle, the Suicide Squad. Freed from prison, they're given a choice: either try to kill the Justice League or get their heads exploded, courtesy of a bomb implanted in their skulls. Personally, I'd probably choose the bomb over squaring off against Superman, but that's just me. The Suicide Squad are made of sterner or crazier stuff, and so they sign up for the gig and away we go. Right off the bat, Suicide Squad kind of annoyed me because they really don't shut up, and they're constantly hurling insults at each other.
Did he not watch? Did he not what? Does he not know?
And some of the jokes really land, but some of them definitely don't. It's just a lot, it's really relentless, and I did think to myself, man, I don't know how much more of this I can take. But they do wear you down. The character performances are excellent. Each one of them feels distinct and fills a very specific role within the team, meaning that the seriousness of Deadshot plays well against the irreverence of Captain Boomerang, and the ever-literal, unintentionally humorous King Shark is a nice counterbalance to the japes and double entendres of Harley Quinn. By the end of the demo, I was pretty into these characters, I really was. I was keen to see their personal journeys, how they might come together as a team, and most importantly, how they'd manage to pull off something that is almost by definition impossible.
First of all, he's also reviewing this game like he's played through the whole campaign. He's only played 3 hours, he said.
The scale of that challenge is really well set up in the opening missions. Very early on, you'll visit the Hall of Justice, which is the home base of the Justice League, but it also doubles as a museum, with plenty of interactive exhibits introducing you to each of the Justice League members. Replicas of their weapons and vehicles are there, these big 8-foot-tall holograms tower over you while delivering exposition, and most intimidating of all, giant silver effigies of each of them sit above the entrance to their inner sanctum. It's a very Snyder-esque rendition, painting these heroes as not men or women, but gods, and it's your job to kill these gods with shotguns and SMGs, so best of luck with that.
See, that's a bullshit statement.
It isn't just
That's a bullshit statement, right? I know it's for views and whatnot. Well, all you gotta do is just kill them with the... No, that's why you're building up your arsenal, and that's why you have Penguin, that's why you have Poison Ivy, that's why you get the inflictions, that's why you get the mods to build up so you can build them, because obviously Harley Quinn's not going to be able to kill Superman. I just hate that it's like a toss away line. Oh, you're gonna do that with
these gods with shotguns and SMGs, so
right, and even laughs when he says it. I don't know.
Team. It isn't just holograms and statues you'll come face to face with, though. In the opening 3 to 4 hours, I came into contact with the Flash, Green Lantern, and Batman, and each of those sequences was fantastic. I won't spoil them, because these moments are the very best moments that I experienced during the preview, and my guess is that they'll continue to be the best parts of the whole experience, since the gameplay side of things isn't nearly as compelling. But this stuff was so good that I'm willing to put up with some pretty average gameplay to experience it. That equation is going to be very different for different people, particularly when we're talking about a $70 asking price. But I suspect that if you're a fan of capes, or you're into the DC universe, or you just like cool comic book style storytelling, there's probably going to be some price point where this will eventually become worth it for you.
Sure.
It's possible that the rest of the game isn't as narratively compelling as this opening, but I'd bet pretty big money against that. Rocksteady really do understand this universe. I don't think they've managed to deliver an authentic and compelling rendition of characters and events on the gameplay side, but I think they're really nailing it on the narrative and presentation fronts. Of course, the success of the campaign and story will be very dependent on the structure of the overall game, and on that front, I'm definitely at least...
But he does, and they do. You can build a melee build. And he does have powerful boomerangs. He uses shotguns, boomerangs. He does.
A little worried. In that opening 4 hours, basically all the missions were set outdoors on the rooftops of Metropolis, killing waves of enemies for fairly benign reasons. This is essentially what undid the Marvel's Avengers campaign. It had some really good stuff going for it on the narrative front, and it had some pretty great linear, curated missions and set pieces, but a lot of the time the campaign was padded out with open world filler and grind. This was also a problem for Gotham Knights, which was...
Hold on a second, before I let him speak here. First of all, Marvel's Avengers, the reason that it was shallow afterwards, because they were chasing the game that wasn't finished that came out, and they were running after their own tails the entire time. So that's why the expansions and stuff didn't flush out. Gotham Knights, on the other hand, was not a live service game. Literally a single-player game. From beginning to end, single-player, story-driven game that you can play with co-op with friends.
Which was very clearly at some point a live service game repurposed to be a more linear one-and-done experience, And so often the campaign progress would be stage gated behind doing open world bullshit that you just didn't want to do. It's definitely too early to judge this stuff, and I don't want to jump to conclusions, but
But I am.
I can say is that this early mission design did not fill me with confidence that the Suicide Squad will abandon the frustrating mission design and game structure tropes that have held back these live service games that have also delivered a linear story-driven campaign. But again, I do come back to what I said about the combat, which is that it's fun enough, and I'm okay with some fairly basic-ass open-world looter-shooter bullshit if you give me the right payoffs. Big character moments, cool story twists, some sick boss showdowns, etc. If Rocksteady manages to deliver on all of those other things, then that'll be enough for me, but I understand that that's not going to be enough for many other people.
Just checking. We're all seeing that thing, right?
So allow me to sum up, just so that there's no confusion on where I stand about this. Am I looking forward to playing Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? I genuinely am. I liked these characters. I liked their mission. I liked the rendition of the heroes of the Justice League. I liked some of the sequences I experienced, particularly one involving Batman.
This is a cool mission that he's showing right here. Like, this is a cool mission.
Which I won't spoil, but it was fucking cool. I like the side characters. I really am keen to see how the rest of the story unfolds. I also had fun.
Oh, sorry. Just that last clip makes me think of the rest of the clip when you played, and I started laughing.
With the gameplay.
I'm laughing again because it's funny.
I think the approach to traversal-based combat is novel. No game has done anything quite like this before. I think the fundamentals of combat are also very sound in that everything works as it should, and it does deliver a power fantasy that's over the top and silly and kind of mindless, but it is fun. At the same time, I simply can't see the live service hook. I've watched a boss battle encounter from later in the game, and I couldn't see it there. I've looked over some of the loot and customization available in the later parts of the game, and I couldn't see it there either. Most importantly, I just couldn't feel it in the gameplay while I was playing. I could feel it when I played Marvel's Avengers, it's just that the rest of the package couldn't keep pace with how well designed that combat was. I obviously could feel it the very second I picked up Destiny or The Division or Warframe or Borderlands or Outriders, hell, even Deep Rock Galactic, but I just didn't feel it here. I'm hopeful that Rocksteady will deliver us a fun campaign experience, and that campaign will be unburdened by the live service elements that have held back so many other games of this type. I'm really hopeful that Rocksteady pull that off. But when it comes to how much life this game will have in that live service phase, I just hope I'm totally wrong about all this stuff, because Rocksteady worked for like 7+ years on this, and it would be a real shame to see all of that work get delisted and deleted, which is exactly what happened to Marvel's Avengers last year. If this studio were to go from making a trilogy that is an enduring, timeless masterpiece to one that is unceremoniously deleted when the servers are taken offline, then that will be a real shame. Given that Warner Brothers have plenty of form when it comes to deleting their products from existence, I really hope that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League does not suffer that same fate. So as I mentioned earlier...
So, he makes some points, and I'm okay with some of the points about the live service aspect of it, right? I've said, I'm playing the game for the single-player story because I believe in Rocksteady's storytelling capability, okay? Am I looking at this game that's going to last me as long as I played Destiny or Division? No, but look at Division. I play Division every now and then. Every time they have a new season, I don't play it for a couple weeks, months, and then when they come out with a new season, I play it. Play through it, beat it, put it down, wait for the next thing. That's the way I'm looking at this game. Okay? Until I get bored of it, and then I'm like, I'm done with it, and I move on. Now, if you're going into thinking this game is going to be your main game and you're going to put this down like it's an MMO, you might be disappointed, right? But at the same time, to say people that are not going to do that, that's just ridiculous. There are going to be people that are going to put thousands and thousands of hours into this game, okay? And the people that are looking for the greatest looter shooter ever, right? People that are playing Destiny right now didn't leave Destiny to go play Warframe. They didn't leave Warframe to go play Division. They didn't leave Division to go play Anthem. There's people that go, oh, a looter shooter, let me try it out. They play it and they go, I'm going back to what's good, right? I'm going back to what I believe is better than this, and that's what they do. And not every game is meant for everybody, okay? So if someone likes Destiny, they go, I like Destiny. There's other people like, I don't like Destiny. They go play Warframe. Other people, they go play Marvel. Other people go play Division. Okay. Yes, there's cross pollination. Okay. But the masses that are playing, they're going to look at this game and go, and they're going to go back to their game, which is fine. Why is it a problem, though, if there's a group of people that actually like this game? And that's what I don't understand. Okay. Now, the problem with the business model is if there's not enough people spending microtransactions and stuff after the game. So they built the game. Okay. Let's say it takes 5 to 7 years. They did it in 5, 7 years. They have 2 more years to put the content they worked out on, right? So they release it at 5. They're going to support it for 2, and then it's done. Okay. And that's it. And then it goes, did you enjoy your time with it? Great. Right? And then you move on. I don't know why people are so, it's like black or white. You either hate it or you love it. You never go back. Once you stop playing the game, you can never go back. They've even said it in their own thing. They've created a game where every time they have a season, come back and check it out. Like a Fortnite. They're not telling you to play their game 200 hours a month. They're saying, play the game. When you're done with the game, you can come back later when they have more stuff in the game. DC Universe Online does this with the stories and stuff, and that's been around for 12 years. No one talks about that because it's not the masses. Okay. Excuse me. Avengers PTSD. Avengers hurt people. Avengers hurt people. People wanted Avengers to be so good, and I had fun with it. Okay. But for some people, they're just like, no. Like, I've said this before in other videos, dude. I think what Avengers has done is what The Last Jedi did to Solo. Right? The Last Jedi was so bad in theaters, and people hated that movie so bad that they boycotted the next Star Wars movie that came out, which was Solo. Solo is actually a pretty good movie. Okay? Much better than The Last Jedi. Okay? But it got soloed, and Solo lost money. Marvel's Avengers has now, in the wake of Marvel's Avengers, has ruined 3 games. It ruined itself as Marvel's Avengers. It ruined Guardians of the Galaxy because of Marvel's Avengers. It ruined Gotham Knights because of Avengers. Right? And Avengers, okay, is not even, or I'm sorry, Gotham Knights is not even a live service game. Right? They have to make up stuff. Well, you could tell that this is happening and this is why it's a single player game. People played it. They put it down. They got to make up stuff when things don't arrive correctly. They're like, well, did you see the building over there? It's not big enough. I wish the rooftops were bigger. I wish the buildings were bigger, taller. The map is not big enough. Well, the map's too big. The map's too small. Move too slow. Move too fast. Not enough people. Too many people. Right? That was one of the things they said in Gotham. Gotham Knights was, there's not enough people on the streets. Meanwhile, I actually think the open world of Gotham Knights was actually really good. It's a nice little balance. Even though they give you a point of why the game has less people on the streets, they're like, that's still stupid. I know the reason. It's because it's a video game and the frames per second. Yeah. But lore-wise, they're telling you why the streets are empty. Right? They complain about Marvel having small areas, but Destiny has the same type of small areas. Right? With walls that you can't go up and ceilings that you can't jump past. No one complained about those. Nobody complained about those. I mean, in a crime-ridden city, I doubt you're going to see a lot of people on the streets, which they say in the lore while you're playing the game. They say that. If you give them bigger areas, they complain it's too big. I know. I know. That's exactly Exactly what they do. Exactly what they do. They complain that it's too big, too small, too tall, not big enough. I wish there was more buildings they could go into. You have all these buildings. You're going to hear that. I guarantee you're going to hear that from Suicide Squad. All these buildings and you just can't go into any of them. You know it's going to happen. There's 500 buildings and you can only go into 3. You might like how I know I'm talking to someone who has worse takes to you. If a zombie were real, it would be ignore him. I'd be out there because I'm Batman. Look, here's how it breaks down. If you don't know about the game, like B came in earlier and said, "I feel." What did you say, B? Came in earlier and said, "I'm envious of the DC Defenders. This IP is just boring to me." Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's boring, if this game is boring to you, cool, right? Nothing happens, right? You don't play the game. You move on. The people that like the game, right? They play the game and enjoy the game. I don't think the people that are playing the game, I don't know why they're defending it. They just like the game. Like, I like chicken. I like beef. Ugh, I fucking hate beef. Like, okay, well, you're not eating what I'm eating. So why do you care if I like beef? It's like if they're putting a vehicle in Starfield. They would complain it's too short. You travel too fast now. Yeah, that's exactly what would happen. You would hit the boundary faster, and people would complain about that. You can still have bad takes and be honest with yourself. Yeah, that's what I say all the time. I say it all the time, Al Dente. I was like, I know that I like games that are bad, and I know it's a bad game. I won't defend a game going, well, it's a bad game. Right? I played Marvel's Avengers for 1,100 hours. I love it. Was it a perfect game? Not by any means. And I think that's the big thing, right? A lot of people can't admit to themselves because they paid a certain amount of money for something, and they get mad about it. You have 500 hours in Cyberpunk? Yeah, I have no problem with Cyberpunk 2077. I have a problem with CD Projekt Red, and that's why I've put 0 hours into their game. Taking shots at Skill Up confuses me. He said he doesn't see the live service hook, but if he can flesh it out, he'll play it more. Just an opinion. No need to call him stupid. When did I say he was stupid? You talking to me? Or are you talking to somebody else? I was saying I never called Skill Up stupid. I like Halo Infinite multiplayer. I know it's terrible live service game. Hey, you like what you like. Some people like blondes. Some people like brunettes. Some people like redheads. It is what it is. All I'm saying is you can't judge something until you play it. And if you never play it, I mean, you could judge it, but you would be wrong. There was a person that came into one of my comments, and I'm not even going to read it. You can go read it, right? And said a whole bunch of stuff about this game, and I'm like, none of that is factual. None of that. Everything that he spewed in my comments section on one of my videos, none of it was factual. It was like he was just parroting everybody else that we were talking about before they knew the information. All I'm trying to do is give information for people to go, you know what? I've heard enough, and I do not want this, or I do want it. Like, people are jealous because someone else wants the game that they don't. And they're like, I'm a DC fan, but I think this is going to be bad because of live service or microtransactions or whatever. I said it a year ago, over a year ago. I have proof because I have videos of me saying it. I said I'm in it for Rocksteady and the story. After that, it's all bonus. Got a whole playlist of stuff I've talked about. It's like watching One Piece. I'm 220 episodes in, and it's not a good show. I'm going to finish it so I can tell people they only like it because of the sunken time. Really? You watched 220 episodes and you don't like it? Why don't you just stop? I hate looter shooters, so I hate looter shooters, and this is my main argument. I mean, I didn't hate. I was disappointed in Division 1 because of their content, right? I pre-ordered the content, and I was upset about them not releasing the content like they did. Then they made Division 2. I got Division 2, but I never pre-ordered it. Played Division 2. I enjoyed Division 2. Up to this day, 5 years later, still enjoy it, right? Every time they have an update, me and Sarge go in, we play through it, and that's what it is, right? I don't look at any game like this is going to be the game I'm no-lifing for the rest of my life. Just don't do it. I'm 322 of 1,000+ episodes in One Piece, and I do enjoy it. Man, there's really that many episodes. See, I will never watch that because it's just I don't have the time. I don't have the time. Live action summarized 150 episodes into 8. Wow. How much fluff did they take out? I know nothing about One Piece, so nothing. Oh, 40. All of it. I enjoy the live action, all of it. Yes, over 1,000. I'll eventually watch them all. My God. I don't have the time. How much is each episode? 22 minutes? Is it 22 minutes per episode? Yeah, 22 minutes. A lot of hours. And how many episodes? 1,000? 1,000+ episodes? I mean, that's nuts. A 1,000+ and still going. Yeah, I'll never watch it. Never watch it. Hell, they're even remaking the damn show, and it hasn't ended. How many years has it been out? How many years has it been out? Later, Travis. That's insane. All right. So let me tell you what's going to go on for a little bit this week and then next week, right? So this week, Wednesday night, I got Kingard coming back on the show. We're just going to bullshit and have a little podcast on Wednesday night. So there's no gameplay on Wednesday night. We have a podcast on Thursday as well. Next week, which is what? This let me look at my calendar real fast. Yeah, so next week is the week before Suicide Squad. We're 2 weeks away. When Suicide Squad comes out, these morning shows for the first, I guess, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm not sure when it comes out. Does it come out at midnight? Does it come out at midnight on launch or whatever? I guess we'll find out more. But Monday's show, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, we're going to be playing campaign, story, okay? Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and then after the podcast on Thursday night, we're going to play the story. So we're going to be playing the main campaign of Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, because as a content creator, I got to get through it. Not flying through it to ruin it for myself, just playing through the main story, and that's why I'm doing days and nights playing through it. Okay, so I can make content and whatever else, but that'll be our main game going forward. But we're gonna focus on the campaign, and then once I'm done with the campaign, it'll go into the evening streams where I'm playing as like Harley one night or 1 week and Deadshot and whatnot, like we did for Marvels. So that's the plan. 96 or 97. Jesus. Did it really start back when I was in high school? ...2004 in the U.S. Dear Lord. All right, on today's show, we talked about Starfield. We talked about GameStop. We talked about Suicide Squad. We watched a couple of videos of Jarv. And then we also watched SkillUp's talk about Suicide Squad as well. You guys like what we do here? We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just go over some news stories and chat with you guys live. If you want to watch the past broadcasts, you can watch this after the fact, or you can watch the breakout videos I do later on. We have a bunch of different uploads that we do each and every single week. We have live shows, we have podcasts, we have gameplay. I do a lot as a one-man show over here, so I appreciate it very much if you're here for 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour. We appreciate it very much. And I'm done for the morning, and I'll see you guys tonight for some gameplay. Peace.